The oil spill by BP has left eyeballs all over the sea. So don't go swimming down in the south unless you want tar balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Swim in the ocean, you'll have balls in your mouth. Go ahead! Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your
What's up, Boochcast fans, listeners across the internet, radio waves? This is Vinny Bucci, aka the Booch, and this is that time again, once again, yet again for the Boochcast. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, September the 6th, 2016. It is high noon, and oh boy. Once again, Vinny Bucci having to burn the midnight oil. Got me drink in place. In order to keep me awake so we can have some fun. And I got to tell you guys, a part of me is still a little exhausted. I'm just now still getting over the 4-day Vegas vacation. It's still hitting me pretty hard. Because here's some things that I didn't mention yesterday on the show, is that here's something I've learned about Las Vegas. The second you land, you hit the ground running. And I mean hauling ass. Like, it is nonstop. Like, I know New York is considered the city that never sleeps, but I think Vegas should have that title more, I think. Because I've seen New York completely quiet at night. Maybe not necessarily the city, but most of New York. In Vegas, everything keeps going. It's insanity. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's insanity. And basically, what I've seen and what I learned out there was that you just keep going and going and going. Like, when I landed in Vegas, I had a moment where I wasn't doing anything crazy. I basically went to baggage claim, got my luggage off the rack, and then I sat in the airport for about 30 minutes. The reason I sat in the airport for 30 minutes was because I needed to charge my phone because it died on the plane. So I plugged it in, let it charge for a good amount of time, and basically binge watch Arrow, or tried to binge watch Arrow. And someone even actually pointed out to me while I was talking about the show that it's like, dude, you're obsessed with this show. And I've come to the realization that I am obsessed with Arrow, but I'm obsessed with Arrow for a different reason than most people. See, most people will be obsessed with Arrow because it's an amazing show. Some people might be obsessed with Arrow because you find Stephen Amell attractive. Now, me personally, I don't fall in either one of those categories. I mean, I think the show's awesome, but not over the top obsessed with it. The reason I'm so obsessed with Arrow is because I'm on a deadline. That's why. The reason I'm obsessed with Arrow is because I am trying to make sure that I binge watch all of Arrow by October 5th so that when the season 5 premiere takes place on TV, I can go and watch it and understand it. Because I can't watch this new season coming up until I finish all this. And that's important to me. It's very important to me that I do that. Because I want to make sure I can enjoy Arrow, but I can't until I'm all caught up. Now, I think I'm on episode, 12 or 13 of Arrow currently on season 3. So I'm getting close. Basically, like I said before, I'm going to be getting through Arrow as fast as I can. And then once I get done with Arrow, once I get done with season 3, I already told my friend at work, Kira, I plan to borrow her Hulu account and watch the 4th season. Now, I think the 4th season is supposed to come to Netflix on, I think, the 1st of October, she said. But right now, my strategy is simple. I plan on watching on Hulu and getting through every episode as fast as I can. I am going to be devoting a lot of my free time to binge watching Arrow because I need to make absolutely certain that I get through all 4 seasons of Arrow by October 5th. And like I said, I'm about halfway through season 3. And I am currently making arrangements to bring Zach on the show to talk about Arrow. Since Zach was the one who recommended that I watch Arrow in the first place, he's the reason I'm watching this show. Or he was the reason I started watching the show. Now I've started to enjoy it. So we're definitely making plans to have Zach appear on the show. It was supposed to be Friday, September 23rd, but now we have decided that we decided that it's going to be either on a Monday. I'm going to bring Zach on. And I chose Monday because it's a better time to have him on. Tuesday's usually not a good time because that's usually when I'm recapping Raw. So I decided I'm going to pick a Monday in September, and I'm going to bring Zach on the show, talk about season 1, then bring him back again for season 2, and then season 3 if I finish it. So right now, Zach's guaranteed 2 Mondays because I've already finished 2 seasons of Arrow. And then, like I said, once I finish season 3, I'm going to take a break from Netflix. I'm going to put Netflix on the back burner. The recaps of Netflix are going to go on the back burner. And then after that, we're going to watch. After that, I'm going to watch Hulu. I'm going to get a Hulu account, watch the 4th season of Arrow. And then once I finish season 4 of Arrow, then I'll go back to Netflix, because I can then watch Arrow on demand on the CW and all that. So I'll have everything organized. And Arrow will just be a TV show that I watch. And then after the show, and then once season 5 is over, Zach will return to the show, talk about that, and so on and so forth with Arrow. I'm going to bring him on to do Arrow talk. So once I was done watching Arrow and, finishing up my show, I got in the car, I got in a cab, went to the hotel, and here's honestly how I feel, is that I was exhausted. Basically, I got to the lobby. I waited for Jamie, Conrad, and Ryan to come back from Topgolf. They were hanging out. So I sat in the lobby watching SmackDown Live and a little bit of Arrow and waiting for them and, getting my audio clips ready for Desmond to do the Friday show. And then I thought maybe I would get a chance to rest. That didn't happen. I literally was going boom, 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 boom. By the time we got to bowling, I was dragging ass. Went to sleep, got up. It was insane. It was insane. It was a little crazy. Trying my best to get. I basically slept whenever I could, chugged soda to get through the day. I somehow, some way managed to survive it, and it was probably the most difficult thing I ever had to do. But overall, I still had fun. I don't want people to ever misconstrue that. I had a blast. I met so many amazing people. And in fact, there was one guy in particular that I met that I forgot to mention yesterday, and I feel bad about it. It's just in the midst of everything. I actually met a guy named Shuli Egger, who's really, really cool. And I found out that he's a writer and producer and occasional on-air talent for the Howard Stern show. And he's been friends with Joe Lowers for a long time. And he told me the story of how he got on the Howard Stern show. And he said that he used to be a guy who watched every day. He was working odd jobs. He was a stand-up comic. He is a stand-up comic. But he was also working odd jobs while trying to make it in comedy, which is pretty much what I do and what a lot of other comedians do. That was the one awkward thing that Jamie Ward and I had, was that when we got back to Atlanta, we got back to our original jobs and everything else. He got back to doing stand-up and working at the yogurt shop, and I'm back with the stand-up and the Home Depot. So we kind of just came back to our lives, but we still had the most fun on the planet at Vegas. But Shuli talked about how he would listen to the Howard Stern show every night. And then one day his girlfriend, I don't know if it's his wife now or if they're still together. Excuse me. I can't remember. But he did say that at one point, I think his girlfriend said to him, hey, if you're going to listen this much, why don't you call in? And he did. And he would start calling in, and he actually, because he was living in Vegas, and he gambled with Howard Stern at one point. Him and Artie Lang the three of them were like gambling in a casino. And then, Shuli started becoming a regular and calling in. And then eventually he got a chance to audition for the Howard Stern show, and he got the job. And he's now been working with the Howard Stern show for 10 years. And he had a great story. And, people used to complain to him, why do you keep doing this? You're not getting paid. And I meant by calling in, not being a writer producer. He got paid for that. But they said, he said, why? And he goes, you don't understand. This can be beneficial to my career. And that's really what drew me to talking with Shuli. That's what I love most about this guy. is the fact that he had that same mentality, because that was the mentality that I had when I did the regular guys show. Because people ask me all the time, why do you put up with all this stuff they put you through? They're not paying you. Why are you doing this? And the reason was because I could see the forest through the trees. And what I meant by that was I saw that this could help me in the long run. And in a lot of ways, it did. Because, yeah, I went through a lot of – there was a lot of fun. I had fun on the regular guys show. And I also went through a lot of hell on that show. I had days that were awesome. I had days that absolutely sucked. I experienced both on that show. But overall, it was great because, A, it made me a better performer. B, it gave me a platform with which to reach out to audience members, because I had fans on that show and still do to this day. Even though the regular guys show has been gone for a year and a half, almost 2 years, I still have the fan base from then. Which is why I hope to be a part of the new regular guys show that Larry is putting back together. And I definitely plan on, making myself a part of that. My goal is to have Larry as a guest on the Boochcast and not only ask him questions and do a great interview, but also plead my case. Use that as an opportunity to sell myself to Larry and convince him that I deserve this opportunity. And I'm going to base it solely on two things. One, my loyalty to him, which I showed in the 4 years that I was there. And two, what I did for him. Show him that I paid the dues that were necessary to have this position. And if you also throw in the fact that here on the Boochcast, I run a 3-hour show practically by myself, tells you that if I do this well by myself, I'll do even better in an ensemble cast, which is what it will be. It'll be me, Larry, and possibly 2 other people. This can succeed. And that's one thing. And, of course, you throw in the fact that I now have a brand new fan base just from Adult Swim, helps out as well. So that's why I definitely plan on, being part of the new ensemble cast of the regular guys. Y'all can wish me luck on that. But yeah, so Shuli understood that he was paying dues back then. And it led to him having a writer-producer job. Then he got a contract. He has a contract, everything, and he's working in radio while doing stand-up. Shuli's living the dream. In a way, he's living my dream. Because I've always said, if I could make a living in entertainment, that would be life for me. Like, I'll be honest, right now at this stage of my life, if I could make money doing stand-up, whether it's on the road doing stand-up or in radio or with Adult Swim, if I had, let's say I got up and I did the radio show. I worked with Adult Swim and stand up. I got paid for all 3, and I made enough money to pay my bills and live, financially take care of myself. That's the life for me. I made it in that regard. If I can say goodbye to the big orange slut, I'm good. That's how that's how I would be happy with my life. And Shuli Edgar was a really cool guy, and I hope to see him again next year. If we're both at the World Series of Comedy, and I want to give that special shout out to him because he's one of the few people that can relate to where I'm coming from, and he's a genuine cool guy. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I realize I'm doing a lot of talking here. But I also realize that we are on a tight schedule today. So If you're planning on calling into the Boochcast today, please understand that if I can recognize your number, I may not be picking up the phone. Right now, the only way I'm for today's show, I'm only taking callers for one of two reasons. One, a co-host calls in, whether it's Elvis Delinsky, Desmond Dagenhart, or Gator Ricky Ross. If any of them call in, I'll take the call. Or if it's a brand new caller who's never called in before. So if you listen to the show and you've never called in, or it's been months or years since you called in, you can call in. I'll take your call. But if you're somebody like I'll say the name Frank, who's called in on a regular, consistent basis, there's a good chance I'm not taking your call today. And it's not that I'm trying to be a dick. I just really want to get through the stuff I need to get through today, because I have a lot to make up for, because I was only able to I wanted to recap the Cruiserweight Classic, NXT, and TNA yesterday, but I got flooded with so many calls. Don't get me wrong. I love the calls. I don't want people to think that I'm mad. I'm not. It's just that I was only able to recap the Cruiserweight Classic. So now I kind of got to fill up time where necessary. So that's why today's show is called On the Next Raw. And, of course, I got rid of the E and just put NXT because I'm recapping NXT today as well. So we're going to start off with NXT. This was on Wednesday, August 31st, 2016. Basically, I was bowling at the time this was happening. And here's how this goes. And let me see. We start things off with the opening segment of NXT. We cut to the backstage area where we see William Regal and Samoa Joe with a trainer. And one of the big rumors was that Samoa Joe had suffered a dislocated jaw at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. And here's what the trainer has to say about the condition of Samoa Joe.
So, Mr. Regal, I know we talked before about Joe's jaw being dislocated in Brooklyn. They're talking that Joe discovered some other injuries that he didn't disclose at the time in Brooklyn. And with the jaw and these other injuries, I'm not comfortable clearing them for any physicality for tonight and anytime soon that I can see. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Well, obviously Samoa Joe is pissed off at that, but he's now apparently dealing with a lot of injuries that he sustained in Brooklyn, and they're not comfortable clearing him at this time. So here's what I find interesting about this. First of all, I don't know if this is a storyline injury or if it's real. I know that sounds weird to say, but this is the difference, okay? There's a lot of times where wrestlers have used injuries in the past as an angle to write somebody off TV or to do this or that. But there are also times where wrestlers do get seriously injured in matches because this is a brutal sport. It's a brutal form of entertainment. It really is. And I heard about Samoa Joe suffering the dislocated jaw. So that might be real. Or maybe the other injuries might be storyline related. But the one thing I know for sure is I don't know if they're trying to write Samoa Joe off TV, I don't know if they're trying to do that to really give him time off to heal, or if this is a way that they're going to try to write him out completely and put him on the main roster. There's a lot of rumors going around that Samoa Joe is going to get called up soon. Which, at this point, they could pretty much handle. Excuse me. But at the same time, I'm a little concerned. I don't know if Samoa Joe is really, truly ready to be called up. I don't really know for sure if Samoa Joe actually is ready for that. Is he ready? Is NXT ready to lose a big star like Samoa Joe? That's the things that I was worried about when Nakamura even won the championship in the first place. Was I don't know if Samoa Joe is really ready to go up there yet, but we'll have to see what happens next. And on that note, we move on to the first official match of the evening, Ty Dillinger versus Buddy Murphy. And this match was interesting. It was well thought out, and it was decent. Buddy Murphy controlled much of the contest, but Dillinger remained resilient in the face of adversity, and then eventually he hit the tiebreaker and got the victory in the middle of the ring. It was a great back and forth match. Ty Dillinger showing that he has great showmanship. Whenever he would outsmart Buddy Murphy, and then he would do the whole 10 thing where he takes his fingers and goes like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and jumps around the ring, and then they go, and then they talk about Murphy being a 0. Like they rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 because Ty Dillinger, of course, is the perfect 10. I just like the fact that Ty Dillinger is starting to get some wins under his belt. I'm hoping this will lead to him becoming a well-established superstar. But there is a part of me that's very, very concerned that we're not going to see a whole lot from him. You know, I think Ty Dillinger this is only a matter of time before he ends up falling by the wayside, because I don't think they take him seriously as a legit performer. But overall, the match was decent. Ty Dillinger pulled out a great victory, and we'll see what happens with him down the road. And then on that note, we cut to the backstage area with Tommaso Ciampa. As we all know, Johnny Gargano has suffered a leg injury. He was injured at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, which caused him to tap out in the match, The Revival. Then, of course, in the Cruiserweight Classic, he was forced to tap out to Zack Sabre Jr. TJ Perkins, I'm sorry, and Johnny Gargano got eliminated. So now he's kind of sitting on the sidelines, and we try to talk to Tommaso Ciampa for an update, and here's what he has to say about his injured tag team partner.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest at this time, Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso, what is the latest on Johnny's leg injury?
Charlie, I don't think I need to tell you, and I know I don't need to tell the people sitting at home. Johnny Gargano is all heart. And his leg, it's going to be all right, but the fact of the matter is, in Brooklyn, New York, that's right, huh? That's right. What the hell is going on? Oh my God! Normally I'd be offended when somebody beats somebody up on our desktop against the Revival. They're doing tough guy things. Take an example out of Tampa. We're going to take out the Tampa once and for all. Everybody is a tough guy until they're faced with reality. We are reality. The revival is reality. And Tommaso Ciampa was faced with reality. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, they faced the top gun, the absolute top guns here in NXT, and it was a reality check. What is wrong with Tommaso Ciampa? Oh, guys! Ow! You Ciampa should have just stayed down. Unless you're talking about how great they are, you keep the Revival's name out of your mouth.
Wow. I guess it's safe to say the Revival is now establishing their dominance officially in NXT. Now, they've obviously laid out Tommaso Ciampa. So the big question here is Tommaso Ciampa going to try to take these guys on by himself now? Or could this be a way to get Tommaso Ciampa temporarily off TV and then have maybe him and Johnny Gargano return at the same time? Because even though Tommaso Ciampa is an incredible singles wrestler, you know, without Johnny Gargano to watch his back, the Revival would just eat him alive every week. And it's just, I don't know how this is going to work or where they're going to go with this or how it's going to be even remotely possible to make that happen. But either way, Tommaso Ciampa has a lot on his plate, and it's going to be interesting to see. Like, is the Revival... I don't know how much longer the Revival can really go in NXT. What else is left for them to do? Who is left for them to face? Other than the Authors of Pain, I don't see any other tag team that could take on the Revival. And eventually, the Authors of Pain, with the way Paul Ellering is booking them, they've got to become the tag team champions. They've got to. And then eventually, they're going to drop the gold. I'll be intrigued to see who the Authors of Pain actually lose to. But, point is, I don't know what else the Revival can really do. And I don't know why WWE is so high on these guys. That you're going to bury your whole tag team division to build up one team. WWE, for some reason, loves to do that. And thinks that by doing that, they're putting on an entertaining show. Yeah, they might be making a lot of money, but you're also turning off a lot of fans. It's the same problem with the New Day, which I'm gonna get into that in a moment. I'm gonna get into that a little later on in the show. But I feel like if you keep pounding all the tag teams into powder, who's gonna be left to beat them? Nobody. That's the answer. And you're going to have a tag team that's dominant. Yes, but eventually the crowd will get tired of it. It is possible in wrestling to be a champion for way too long. And if you're a champion for too long, the crowd will get annoyed. The crowd will get tired. The crowd will get turned off because they're already going to know who's going to win. And I'm getting that vibe with the Revival. I'm not hating their talent. They're talented. I'm just getting sick of seeing them as the tag team champions. And I feel like other tag teams are getting buried in the process. And it's not just one tag team's getting buried. It's the whole goddamn division. And on that note, we will move on to the next match of the evening. We've got Steve Cutler versus Kenneth Crawford. And before the match, there's a bit of a promo from Steve Cutler. And here's what he has to say.
When you sit back long enough, you realize the only way to get attention is by putting a target on your back. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you love me. And I for damn sure don't care if you hate me. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you will respect Steve Cutler.
Well, obviously Steve Cutler cutting a hell of a promo right there. And usually I don't do before match promos like that. But in this case, I felt I had to. Excuse me. So it can give you a better understanding of who Steve Cutler really is. Especially since he's been a guy that's, you know, been on NXT a few times, but he's mostly been a jobber. However, today was not the case. This was basically a match between two young guys in NXT. Two people that nobody knows or really cares about. So these guys basically had an opportunity to showcase themselves in front of the crowd. Kenneth Crawford basically was a high flyer, showcasing his athletic maneuvers, and Steve Cutler was kind of the hard-hitting, no-nonsense kind of guy. You know, he was a bit of a brawler. And then eventually he had a Fisherman Michinoku driver to win the match. And it looks like Steve Cutler might be getting a decent push here. I don't know if they're going to, you know, how far they're going to push him. But I definitely know that he's got a great opportunity to be a star on NXT. Whether he goes to the main roster or not remains to be seen. But this is basically a chance for two young guys to showcase what they got. It was kind of that. Them kind of having their moment to show Triple H what they're capable of. That was pretty much what this match embodied, and that was pretty much what this match was all about. Most definitely. This is what the match was all about. And it was highly entertaining. Very well done. Both these men showed off just how good they really are. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the next segment here. We cut to the backstage area with Hideo Itami. Now, the last time we saw Hideo Itami, he came out after the match between Austin Aries and No Way Jose, and he kind of picked him up on his shoulders and hit him with the GTS and dropped Austin Aries in the middle of the ring, which obviously is setting up a potential rivalry between Austin Aries and Hideo Itami. And here's what he had to say about dropping the GTS on the greatest man that ever lived.
Hideo, can you tell us about your actions against Austin Aries at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn?
I kicked him in the head with my sockless loafer. That was a huge moment for me. But he disappointed me. A ruptured eardrums? So what? I thought he's a real man. But it looks like he's just a little baby. If he doesn't want to feel pain, get out of my ring. Or I will make him go to sleep again.
Love it. Love it. Now that is badass. Hideo Itami and Austin Aries are definitely set to have one hell of an amazing rivalry right now. I mean, that was amazing. It really was. I thought that was very well done by Hideo Itami. I do. I think it was very well done. I like the fact that he said, I'll use the go to sleep again. I like that. Why do I like that? Because that tells me that the GTS is now officially becoming a Hideo Itami finisher, which I'm still convinced is a big, giant fuck you to CM Punk. And speaking of CM Punk, in case you guys didn't know, this Saturday is his official debut in the UFC, him against Mickey Gall. And I plan on being at the Hooters this Saturday night to go see it. I'm definitely going to go see it. I'm going to get a bunch of friends together, and we're going to go check out this amazing pay-per-view. We're going to see it. It's going to be awesome. I am looking forward to it. And on that note, I will now move on here. And no, I'm not going to move on. Sorry. But I still think that, anyway, I'm going to say one more time here. Hideo Itami, Austin Aries, I see them having one hell of a rivalry. I love the fact that Hideo is going to use the GTS, since that was a big move that he used in Japan. And he's allowed to use it now that CM Punk is no longer affiliated with the company. It doesn't seem like he's going to be staying with the company anytime soon. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let me see here. What I think I'm going to do right now is, after that match, and after that match. Okay. On that note, I'm going to move on to the next match of the evening, which is a great one-on-one match with No Way Jose, No Way Jose, No Way Jose, No Way Jose. That's right. It's No Way Jose one-on-one against Angelo Dawkins. And I'm going to be upfront honest right now. I have no idea what the hell Angelo Dawkins' gimmick is anymore. I don't know what he's supposed to be. I don't know what he's trying to do. I know he can still wrestle. Of that, I'm certain. But in terms of a gimmick, I don't know what he's trying to be anymore. Or if he even has a gimmick anymore. Maybe he's still working on something. Maybe he's still trying to build a character. I don't know. I just know that Angelo Dawkins confuses me. But either way, him and No Way Jose had a great, great match. And I love the fact that No Way Jose has now, since feuding with Austin Aries, found the balance between being the fun-loving song and dance man to being the I'm going to be serious and whoop your ass man. And he's blending the two together this time. I think the loss to Austin Aries has kind of helped him retain focus. And then eventually he hits a full Nelson slam to defeat Angelo Dawkins. And now No Way Jose is getting back on track, is getting to where he needs to be, and everything seems to be working out great for him. But I look forward to seeing what happens with No Way Jose a little bit down the road. But I definitely see him being taken seriously now. And I think he's starting to – I think if he blends all that together, he's going to be a hell of a star. And Angelo Dawkins, he's greatness. He has the ability for greatness. But he needs to get the right gimmick and get back on the right track if he wants to be taken seriously by the wrestling by the NXT fans. And on that note, we're going to cut to the backstage area where we're going to see an interview with Andrade Cien Almas. Last time we spoke to him, he lost to Bobby Roode at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2, where Bobby Roode had an amazing showing and probably one of the best entrances of all time, especially in NXT. And here's what Andrade has to say about dealing with the loss to the glorious Bobby Roode.
Andrade, how do you plan to rebound after getting your very first defeat in NXT?
I'm not happy. Why? Yeah, I'm not very happy either. You know why? It's not getting respect in this place. But, you know, I can't figure out why that is because everything about me, from the way I dress, to how I carry myself, to how I perform in the ring, it says star. But every time I show my greatness, somebody else wants to take the spotlight. Like a takeover, right? I beat No Way Jose, but yet everyone's talking about sockless loafer boy Hideo Itami and what he did to me. At least I think that's what they're talking about because I can't hear in this ear because he ruptured the eardrum. So, you know what? I think I'm going to steal your spotlight because you lost. You didn't even win anything. Tranquilo. Yo no soy José Noé. Yo soy Andrade Cien Almas. Y no sabes con quién te enfrentas. Soy lo de hoy. Es mi momento. Oh, I didn't get my Rosetta Stone, so maybe you want to talk to me in English? Listen to me. I won you in the ring this week. Sorry, that was in the bad ear. I couldn't hear what you said there. Sorry, bad ear. I apologize. Come on.
Wow. Austin Aries obviously playing the role of the heel and taking the coward's way out by saying can't hear the eardrum. I did like the Rosetta Stone line. You know, and I find it interesting that Austin Aries is suddenly going after Andrade Cien Almas. And what's even more peculiar is what happens a little later on in the show, which I'm going to look forward to talking about that. But obviously, a rivalry is now going to start forming between Andrade and Austin Aries. And I wonder how long he's going to play the ruptured eardrum thing before he finally gets a match. That's going to be intriguing because I thought Aries would be feuding with Hideo. Now, I don't know if that's the case or if they're going to change to something else. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that Austin Aries is ducking people and he's still trying to recover fully from that shot from Hideo. And on that note, we move on to the next match of the evening. And we get some women's wrestling action with Liv Morgan one-on-one against Aaliyah. Now, obviously, they mentioned the fact that Bayley is now a member of Raw. So Asuka is now the top star in NXT. So now, whoever can be obviously all these women are going to be fighting now to vie for the number one contender spot to get the opportunity to face Asuka. Even though I'm going to be honest, I don't think any of these women other than Ember Moon have a realistic chance of beating Asuka. I don't see it happening. I think that the women's division now in NXT is starting to become lackluster. And I think that the WWE women have the better women's division because all the talent is up there. So it used to be NXT had the better women's division. Now the main roster has it. because NXT, we don't know what the hell's going on. And these two women seem to put on a decent match. They obviously know what they're doing in the ring. Obviously, the training is paying off. They're putting on decent matches. It's not the same as the matches we've seen with the 4 horsewomen going against each other or against other people. And, you know, and I've said a million times on this show before, and I'll say it 1,000,001 more time. It's just they took too many stars out of the division. They've depleted the women's division. It's going to be a while before we see anything special come out of this division. Now, I'm not saying these women aren't great wrestlers, but they're not at that caliber level. It's going to be a while before we see matches like that again. NXT right now is starting to look more like a developmental show. All these matches have been relatively short, and a lot of these matches have involved these women and men basically putting in their best moves and trying to get things done in a short amount of time. These guys have really been put in an awkward position with NXT, and everybody's going to have to set their game up if they want to keep NXT going in the right direction. Because, you know, for the first time in a long time, NXT right now truly feels like a developmental show. It doesn't feel like its own brand. At least not to me anymore. I feel like I'm watching a developmental show. Because, you know, you had stars you pushed to the moon. Now you've gotten rid of them all, at least in the women's division anyway. And now they're having to start from scratch. So it can be good if you can have patience. But if I've learned anything with today's wrestling fans, if there's one thing they don't have, it's patience. So that's why I feel I'm not very confident in the future of the NXT women's division. But either way, Liv Morgan managed to defeat Aaliyah with a spinning kick, got the 1, 2, 3, and emerged victorious in the ring. And on that note, we're going to cut to the backstage area, and we see No Way Jose walking through the back, celebrating his victory. And here's what he has to say about getting back on track.
No way. What are your thoughts about your victory against Angelo Dawkins?
Well, that's an NXT takeover. My momentum here skipped a beat. Life tried to tell me no, and tonight I say no way. So tonight I show the NXT universe that not only do I have the hair, but also the heart of a lion. And I started a brand new conga line, so hop on board because that fiesta is only going straight to the top. Thanks, kid.
Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the glorious Bobby Roode. Now, what's great about this, what's really great about this, is the fact that Bobby Roode is now looking like he's going to face No Way Jose. And Austin Aries is going up against Andrade Cien Almas. Now, Bobby and Andrade fought at Brooklyn. Austin Jose fought at Brooklyn. So what I'm predicting now is I think what I thought was going to happen is actually going to happen. I think Bobby Roode and Austin Aries are going to get together and they're going to reform the Dirty Heels. Because they were a tag team together in TNA. They held the tag team titles together once. And they were called the Dirty Heels. I think they're going to reform the Dirty Heels since they're both bad guys. And I think No Way Jose and Andrade Cien Almas are going to form a tag team. And I think this could be something that potentially helps the tag team division. Now, I would love to see the Dirty Heels become the NXT Tag Team Champions. And then separately, Bobby and Austin become the NXT champion. And it is possible. Don't forget, Adrian Neville was a tag team champion twice before he finally became the actual champion. So I think it's possible, and I think they should start doing that. If you're a great tag team wrestler, which Bobby Roode is, when he teamed with Austin Aries as the Dirty Heels, or Eric Young as Team Canada, or when him and James Storm were Beer Money. I mean, they've all been involved. Bobby Roode has been involved in multiple tag teams. He's done very well as a tag team wrestler. Let him and Austin Aries win the tag belts and build those belts up. Then eventually they drop the titles. They can then break up, go solo, have Bobby Roode capture the world title, the NXT Championship. Then when he have Austin Aries beat him for the title, Bobby Roode gets called up. Austin Aries goes on as champion. Eventually, somebody beats him, and then he gets called up. And then maybe at some point down the road, you put the Dirty Heels back together on the main roster. Have them go for those tag team belts on Raw or SmackDown. And then that way, you build up your titles, you build up your division. It makes things work out a lot better. And I can see that coming to fruition now that they're technically switching opponents. I think eventually you're going to see a tag team match between these guys, and I think you should keep them a team. I think No Way Jose and Cien Almas both have great personalities that could blend them together as a team for a while. If you try to be a singles wrestler, you just get lost in the sauce because we already know who they're planning to push. And that is beneficial to the NXT as a whole. I think that's where those pieces would fit at this point in time. And on that note, we cut to the final moment of NXT where the new NXT champion, Shinsuke Nakamura, comes out to the ring. And, of course, this is the first time we've seen Nakamura since he beat Samoa Joe. And here is what Nakamura has to say about becoming the new NXT champion.
I accomplished everything I could. Dreamed of in Japan. And I wanted to face the best competition in the world. And there was only one place to go. I wanted to challenge myself and see how good I was. So I faced the best in Sami Zayn. I faced the icon, Finn Balor. Everything led me to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn and Samoa Joe. My neck still hurts, legs hurt, finger surgery. But through the pain, I became NXT champion. Samoa Joe. That Joe era is over. Now is the era of strong style. We are living in the era of strong style here on NXT. What a victory it was for Nakamura in Brooklyn. Man who's held many championships around the globe, wanted the best competition in the world. It's right here in NXT, and Nakamura reigns supreme.
All right, so hopefully you could understand a little bit of what Nakamura was saying. I'm not gonna lie, the accent's still a little thick, but overall, I'm starting to like what Nakamura is saying. He has kind of a humble personality in a lot of cases. Like he mentioned, he still respects Samoa Joe, even though his era is over, and we are now in the era of strong style. And I like it. Nakamura talking about everything. He said, I've done everything I've wanted to do in Japan. And I wanted to fight the very best in the world, and I had to come to NXT to do that. And it was a great promo by Nakamura, obviously establishing the fact that he is now, that while he respects Samoa Joe, the Joe reign is over, and now I stand tall as the NXT champion. The big question is, what's going to be next for Nakamura? Who's his next opponent going to be? Who's going to be next to challenge him for the title? And who is going to take that belt from him eventually? Could we see a rematch? Are we ever going to see a rematch to him and Samoa Joe when he comes back from the dislocated jaw injury? Could somebody else step up? The big question is who? Maybe it's Hideo Itami, battle of the Japanese stars. Bobby Roode, he's supposed to be glorious, so there's a chance he could face Nakamura. Austin Aries has already fought Nakamura, but maybe he might step up and be the one. We could see a new star form. There's a lot of people that Nakamura can get in that ring with, but very few could realistically have a shot at defeating Nakamura. Because I can't recall if Nakamura has even lost a match in NXT yet. I just know that either way, Nakamura is an incredible star. And the fans are definitely behind him, and I think he might actually do a hell of a job as NXT champion. But either way, congratulations are in order to the King of Strong Style, who is now the NXT champion and looks forward to a great title reign. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will wrap up the recap of NXT. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a short break here, and when I come back, we'll get into the recap of last night's Monday Night Raw. So sit tight. I'll be back right after this.
All right, so I'm here at the river, trying to play some songs while it's nice out. And I ain't gonna be stuck inside all the time. So I'm gonna play one. This has been one of my sister requested a long time ago, and I'm just now finally getting around to it. Called "High School Never Ends" by Bowling Pursuit. Oh yeah, think for sure. All you got to endure all the total dick, all the stuck up shit, so superficial, so immature. So when you graduate, take a look around and you say,
Hello and welcome back to the Boochcast. During the break, we played the song High School Never Ends, originally done by Bowling for Soup, but of course it was covered by my good friend and the Friday co-host, Desmond Dagenhart, who, of course, made a cameo appearance yesterday on the show because he was off for Labor Day. He said that he may have to work on Friday, so there's no guarantee that he'll be joining me on Friday's show, but glad he got the chance to at least call in and chat for a little bit about a few things, and we did manage to get a few things out of the way. Also, on Friday, last Friday, while I was in Las Vegas, Desmond did do his own episode of the Boochcast, so if you are a fan of Desmond Dagenhart, make sure you go check it out. After you listen to this show, of course, go back and find the Desmond Dagenhart Show Part 3 to listen to the show that Desmond did while I was away in Las Vegas. Also, he recapped SmackDown Live from last week. So if you want to know what happened on SmackDown, you can go talk to him because I will not be recapping SmackDown Live because he already did that. Now, the SmackDown Live that airs tonight, I'll recap that tomorrow. But in terms of what happened last week, you have to watch Desmond's show to find that out. I'm not going to bring that up today. I'm moving forward. And that was Desmond with High School Never Ends here on the Boochcast. And also don't forget, if you want to learn more about Desmond Dagenhart, you can go to his Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Desmond Dagenhart, DesmondDagenhart. Go click the like button, and that way he will accept it, of course. And then once you click the like button, you can then stay up to date with Desmond on his music and his progress and everything going on in Desmond's world. I definitely recommend it. You can also check out videos that Desmond has uploaded of his musical performances. There are covers, there are original songs. It gives you a chance to really see Desmond talent, really check out his talent, see him showcase his skills, and make it happen. So definitely go check out Desmond and his music. Excuse me. And on that note, we will now commence with the Monday Night Raw recap. Monday Night Raw took place in Kansas City, Missouri. And the show opens up with a backstage confrontation between Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley. As we all know, last week, Triple H, Stephanie's husband, interfered in the Fatal 4-Way elimination match by pedigreeing Roman Reigns and helping Seth Rollins eliminate him, and then turning on Seth Rollins and helping Kevin Owens walk out the WWE Universal Champion. Stephanie was in a state of shock. Mick Foley was livid as Triple H pulled one of the biggest backstabs in history, helping Kevin Owens win, aligning himself with Kevin Owens essentially, and not only that, making it the 1 week and helping Monday Night Raw beat SmackDown Live for the first time ever in this WWE draft war. Monday Night Raw actually won last week. So now we come into this show, and Mick Foley confronts Stephanie to find out what the hell is going on. And here's what goes down between the commissioner and the general manager.
Listen, the new WWE Universal Champion, Kevin Owens, is requesting a massive celebration to kick off Monday Night Raw. And who am I to deny that? I want to make sure that Raw over-delivers for Kevin. Yeah, I'm talking balloons, confetti, pyro. We need to have all of it. This is fireworks galore, okay? No, this is not a request. We need to make this happen. Okay, let me clear.
Your husband made me look like a fool on Monday night, and you knew that. You won't return text messages. You won't return emails, and you won't take my phone calls. and I want to know why.
Nick, I'm going to make like you're not standing here demanding that I somehow defend myself for something I knew nothing about.
You're telling me you didn't know anything about it.
No, I told you that Monday night I knew nothing.
You expect me to believe that?
Yes, I do expect you to believe that. I was backing Seth wrong. I had no idea that Hunter was going to come in and pedigree Seth and then help Seth.
I'm the only person believing you. I'm the wrong one.
What the hell do you think you're talking to, Mitch?
I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking to Stephanie. I'm talking to Broad back in 1998. June 28th. Minutes after the Hell in a Cell match. Do you remember the meeting, Stephanie? According to you, I still had a tooth stuck in my nose. And a very good mutual friend who lost her loved one was being sold by you. And I walked up and I gave that man a hug and I looked over and I see a beautiful young lady, no makeup, and she gives me a shy smile. So no matter how much time went by, no matter how devious you got, no matter how successful you became, you've always been a young girl with a shy smile. And I've always believed in you. So I'm asking you now, as the guy with the tooth in his nose to the girl with the shy smile, tell me why I should believe you now.
Please. You want to know why? Because I was embarrassed, Nick. I was embarrassed as a leader. I was embarrassed as a commissioner. I was embarrassed as a wife. I was embarrassed by my husband. You make like I'm just not responding to text or emails. I'm dealing with a lot of different things that you can't possibly understand. How do I represent myself in the boardroom? How do I represent myself out here on Monday Night Raw and maintain some shred of dignity, Nick? Please understand that I had absolutely nothing to do with this. And if I didn't respond to you, it's because, quite frankly, I just didn't know how. So please believe me, Nick. Please look me in my eyes and tell me I'm not still that girl with the shy smile. Look at me. Look at me. Please tell me I'm not still that person.
You are. And I do believe you. Stephanie, I have to believe you. Because if I don't, then that makes you a really good liar and a really bad person. And I cannot believe that.
Holy shit. That right there was probably one of the best opening segments to Raw I've seen in a long time. Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon actually having a serious heart-to-heart conversation. Because this is the first time we've seen Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon not on the same page. Since Stephanie McMahon brought Mick Foley in as the general manager of Raw, this is the first time they've actually been at odds. This is the first time they've actually had conflict amongst themselves. Because the big question is, does Stephanie know about this? Is she planning another coup d'etat? Is the Authority coming back? And is Kevin Owens going to be front and center? Could we see Mick Foley going out the door as a general manager? Will Triple H step in and be a Raw general manager? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. I do know that Raw is starting to bring in a compelling story and is taking it in another direction. And they're showing that real change is coming. And that's what I enjoy most about the fact that Kevin Owens is the Universal Champion. It's new, it's different, and it's putting eyes on the products. They're going in a direction that no one expected them to go. The only thing that could have made this more shocking is if Big Cass was the one in this scenario right now. Not that I'm saying I wanted that, because I didn't. I like Big Cass, but I want him and Enzo to stay a tag team. But I'm just making a point that what happened was shocking and amazing. And Stephanie is definitely, you know, definitely putting on, pleading her best case. But the big question is Stephanie being genuine? Because she can become ruthless and heartless in a nanosecond. We've seen her do it before. The question is she doing that now? But I will say this. If she is planning something evil, then then this is probably the best acting I've seen in WWE in a long time. The best storylines, the best moments are the ones that evoke emotion. And that segment brought out a lot of emotion. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will now commence with we'll move on to the next segment here. And this is basically, we turn to Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley, currently in the ring, surrounded by all the balloons and streamers and everything. And they welcome Kevin Owens out to the ring. He gets a huge reaction. He's actually wearing a suit for the first time ever. He's got his hair neatly cropped. Like he actually looks like a champion instead of a guy who jumped the guardrail for the first time in a long time. For the first time ever in WWE, he actually looks professional, legitimately. He gets in the ring, blows off a Mick Foley handshake, posing on the turnbuckle. The pyro goes off on the stage. The balloons are falling down. He's staying in the ring, listening to the mixed reaction from the crowd. And here's what Kevin Owens has to say about becoming the new WWE Universal Champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the new WWE Universal Champion, Kevin Owens!
Forget the t-shirt, wetland. The champion's gonna stoop tonight. Welcome to the Kevin Owens Show. I'm not a big fan of Kevin Owens personally, but Bonfire and all that ultimate that is WWE Universal Championship. And the WWE Universe learned anything last week that Kevin Owens is a man of his word. Regardless of how he got there, Owens delivered just like he said he would. That was really display worthy of a great champion. And the Kevin Owens eating it all up. No critical. Why wouldn't he? The champion of the WWE Universe. Now, this is Triple H. Kevin Owens is not able to call himself WWE Universe Champion. Look at this. Look at this. Stephanie, Mick. Thank you. This is amazing. That's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly it.
Well, I think make you happy because you, like all these people are saying, you absolutely deserve it, Kevin. Congratulations.
I do. You're right, Stephanie. I do deserve this. More than anything, I deserve this. In fact, you know, last week when I won this title, the entire arena, as we went off the air, was chanting, "You deserve it." And they're 100% right. I do deserve it. What I don't deserve, however, is a crowd full of idiots trying to hijack my moment. And last week was my moment, just like tonight is my moment. And by chanting, "You deserve it," what are you trying to accomplish? You're trying to make it about yourself. What do you think? Oh, we're such a great crowd. We're chanting, "You deserve it" for him. We're so special. Guess what? You're not great. You're not special. I am great. I am special. I know I deserve it. I don't need anybody else to tell me. I've known I deserved it since the moment I stepped foot in this ring. Last week I beat 3 superstars to win this title. But you know what? I am mad enough to admit that towards the end, Triple H did show up and give me one last little nudge. But you know what? I had already done 98% of the work myself. All Triple H did was make things right and put me exactly where I belong, at the very top of this industry. And that is why tonight, Monday Night Raw is officially known as the Kevin Owens Show. Here's one of the men who Triple H nudged out of the way last week to allow Kevin Owens to win the championship. Seth Rollins' pedigree by his former mentor. Yeah, he also judged the moment of praise. Rollins walking his purpose. You can see it in his eyes. What do you think you're doing here? This isn't about you, so shut up. How could you do this to me, Stephanie? How could you do this to me? After everything we've been through, I gave you everything I had. Night in and night out. I put this company, your company, on my back. On my back. And I blew every ligament in my knee for it. And I came back faster than anyone could have imagined. For you, and this is how you repay me. Well, that's a great story, Seth. But you're wrong. This is absolutely about me. This is the Kevin Owens Show. Haven't you heard? Kevin, I've got no problem with you right now. I understand you are just a puppet. But if you don't shut the hell up, not even Triple H is going to be able to save you tonight. You got me.
Yes, I had absolutely no idea that it was trying to come down. No crap.
You expect me to believe that? You expect me to have nothing to do with it. Oh, really? Well, what did you have to do with it? Are you in her pocket too, huh?
He's not in my pocket.
Are you in her pocket
in my
too?
pocket.
Everybody's in your pocket, and everybody knows it. I'm not in her pocket, but I sure as hell have her back. Kevin Owens, he's been Triple H's chosen one from day one. From the moment he stepped foot in NXT, he's had his hand held the entire way. But if you want to hitch your wagon to this guy here, make him the face of the new era, then mark my words, I will be the one to burn it to the ground. And you and your husband, the king and queen, You're going to be on your knees, begging and pleading in a pile of rubble. You got me. Again, what a great story, Seth. But I got to ask, where was this passion these past few months, huh? Because let's be honest here. Ever since you came back from your little injury, it seems to me like the architect has only been designing blueprints for, total failure. Oh!
Stop it! What are you listening to me? Stop it! Cut it!
Except here.
You are indefinitely suspended! Can I just sit?
No, he's not. You're acting as if this is personal, and I know it's not. Okay, but this is Monday Night Raw. We don't hand out suspensions when somebody who has been wrong lets their temper flare. We hand out rematches. Stephanie, when you made me the general manager of Raw, it was agreed that I would beat the matches. I'm asking you to respect that now. Let me make the matches. Personally, I have no love lost for Seth Rollins. I've never particularly liked you. But I'm not going to deny the type of talent you are. Steph and I watched, and we were amazed, awestruck by the type of match it was. And I'm not putting that type of talent on a shelf. You'll get your rematch, and you're going to face Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship at Clash of the Champions. So it's going to happen in 3 weeks. The WWE Victory Clash of Champions in Indianapolis has its marquee match. Kevin Owens is winning, but he's going to be forced to defend the WWE Universal title against Seth Rollins.
So obviously, that was definitely an amazing start to Monday Night Raw. Holy shit. Kevin Owens cutting an amazing promo, and apparently in that promo we learned that Kevin Owens is special. I'm not going to lie. I laughed my ass off when I heard Kevin Owens say, "I am special." Well, that definitely explains a lot. Especially in recent weeks. With the way he dresses, the way he walks, the way he talks. It's safe to say Kevin Owens is definitely special. I'm surprised nobody picked up on that, but I guess Seth Rollins was too busy cutting. You know what? It was actually a very good promo. This is probably the best promo Seth Rollins has cut since the first one he cut when he first came back. So Seth actually cut a really good promo here. However, I disagree with a lot of it. When he said Kevin Owens was Triple H's guy since day one. He had his hand held the entire time. I love the fact that Seth Rollins tried to flip that shit on Kevin Owens, when we all know that in reality, Seth Rollins was the guy who was Triple H's pick from day one and had his hand held the entire time. Kevin Owens hasn't done shit. Triple H hadn't done shit for Kevin Owens except sign him to a contract. Triple H wasn't there when Kevin Owens beat Sami Zayn for the NXT title. You know, Triple H wasn't there when he beat John Cena or when Kevin Owens became a 2-time Intercontinental Champion prior to becoming Universal Champion. Triple H only helped Kevin Owens win the Universal title. Kevin Owens has done pretty much everything else on his own. Seth Rollins, as a solo star, has been handed everything. So that's where I was kind of tuning out, like, get the fuck out of here. I love the fact that he called Kevin Owens a puppet, which was a great line, but still, Seth Rollins was a puppet for many, many years, and I love the fact that he's just trying to pretend like he wasn't that guy in the Authority. So it's interesting to see. It was Seth Rollins making a very interesting face turn, almost getting suspended, but Mick Foley deciding we're not going to do that. We're just going to have them fight. So we are going to see Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins at Clash of the Champions. And it's going to be an interesting match to see between these two. If Seth Rollins will, in fact, become the Universal Champion. I don't think Seth's going to win it anytime soon. I still believe that Kevin Owens should have a decent reign with the title before dropping it, especially since it got such a loud pop and there were fans chanting, "You deserve it," despite Kevin Owens turning the crowd against him as a heel is supposed to do. And I think that Kevin Owens, his title reign should not last a month. It should go on for a long, extended period of time, a decent amount of time, before finally dropping it. Whether Seth Rollins eventually takes the belt from him, or we wait till Finn Balor comes back and have him beat Kevin Owens and become the Universal Champion for the second time. Because when Finn Balor comes back, whenever he comes back, he should be the Universal Champion. Because he deserves a long and lengthy title reign. And whether he wins it on his own, or if he reforms the Balor, or if he forms the Balor Club, which is what I think they should do, then we can see the possibility happening there. I think that would work. So, but either way, it was a great, great segment. Great, great promo. It was definitely one of the most passionate promos I'd seen in wrestling in a long time, since Cena and Styles. Which I know hasn't been a long time, but at least since the draft. It was a really well done promo by these guys. They had a hell of a segment, did a hell of a job. It was very entertaining. And it's definitely something that captured everyone's attention. Even Stephanie McMahon, who was in a state of shock when Mick Foley said that Rollins was not suspended. So what we do is we cut to the backstage area where we see Foley and Stephanie in an intense argument. Like I said, for the first time in a long time, they're imploding until they get greeted by the Universal Champion and his new best friend. And here's what unfolds from that.
Yes, I did. I hired you to make the matches. But if you ever usurp my authority out there again, I swear you're not going to have a position to come back to.
Stephanie, I understand. I may have overstepped my authority, but I did it in the best interest. These people would have been talking.
I don't care about
I care what people say about you. They would have said you were playing favorites and you weren't. Way to handle things out there, Mick. But let's see. Rollins interrupts my celebration. Berates our commissioner, attacks the WWE Universal Champion while I'm wearing a suit, no less. And you reward that behavior with a title match? Are you kidding? You know, I did reward that with a title match, but I'm going to reward your behavior with a match tonight against your former best friend, Sami Zayn. What?
You better back up.
Listen, back up. Whoa. You believe this? Who the hell do you think you are, Foley, huh? Disrespecting my best friend and the longest reigning WWE Universal Champion in history? Huh? 7 days. Yeah. How dare you? You know, why did Seth Rollins give Seth Rollins a championship match? Come on. What has Rollins ever done? Was he your best buddy? Huh? Was he a holy Foley, Mark? Did you go on a Labor Day barbecue with him, you stupid idiot?
Don't you talk to Mick Foley like that.
Thank you, Stephanie.
I support his decision-making 100%.
This stupid idiot is putting you in a match tonight against Seth Rollins. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley are now once again back on the same page. They had a brief disagreement. Stephanie made it clear, do not ever obstruct my authority again, or I will have you fired. So obviously Foley now knows that even though his job is to make the matches, if Stephanie makes a call, Foley needs to step back because pretty much they're going to come to blows. Verbally, not physically, obviously. But then Kevin Owens gets involved, and I'm going to be honest. I was not particularly happy with this segment for one reason and one reason only. I like the fact that that he booked a match with Jericho versus Seth Rollins. I thought that was a great idea. Jericho and Rollins. Two great wrestlers, good rivalry, good match. Could definitely happen. But what I don't like is that Kevin Owens got booked in a match with Sami Zayn. That I'm not happy about. And I'm going to tell you why. Battleground was supposed to be the end of this shit. When Sami Zayn beat Kevin Owens, that was supposed to end the rivalry. And if it ever happened again, it would happen a long, long time from now. And now, here we are with another one-on-one match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And I'm not too thrilled about this because, you know, Sami Zayn could win the match, but then Kevin Owens would look weak as the Universal Champion. Kevin Owens could beat Sami Zayn, but then Sami, in a way, he gets buried, and it's like the match at Battleground never happened. That was supposed to be the definitive end of this rivalry. And now they're reigniting it for some stupid crap. What would have been smart was if you want to put Kevin Owens in a match, put him in a match against Roman Reigns. Hell, he got screwed out of them because he got screwed out of the Universal title as well. Hell, put him in a match with Big Cass. I know they already fought a few weeks ago. Who gives a shit? Or make Kevin Owens fight Big or Enzo Amore or do something like that. That would have been better than having Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. It's a match that's been overplayed. Nobody wants to see it. It's repetitive. It's going to bore the audience to tears, regardless of how great they are in the ring. I know people are going to say, well, they wrestle really well and they have a lot of chemistry. It's going to be a good match. No, it's already been done. You're reigniting a rivalry that doesn't need to be reignited. It's a waste of the fans' time. It's, in the words of the Bare Naked Ladies, it's all been done before. That's the point I'm trying to make. Been there, done this. Don't need to see it again. So, not too thrilled about that. And on that note, we move on to our first official match of the evening, which is Charlotte one-on-one against Bayley. It's a non-title match, and Dana Brooke is in Charlotte's corner. And we notice Dana Brooke walking out to the ring, and she's holding a clipboard. And of course, most people are wondering, what the hell is she doing with a clipboard? Well, we get an answer, because apparently on the Raw pre-show, Charlotte and Dana had a chat, and here is why Dana's holding a clipboard.
You become the company you keep. And in my inner circle, I don't allow failure. So tonight, you are going to take this clipboard, piece of paper, and this pen, and you're going to take notes. You're going to see how I beat Bayley like a queen. Very good. You up first.
So obviously, Charlotte is playing her heel role very well. She wants Dana to take notes on how well she beats Bayley because she believes she can beat Bayley. And I love the fact that, I will say this, I love the fact that Charlotte patted Dana Brooke on the head. I thought that was great. I give credit where credit is due. I like that segment. You know why? Because for those of you who may not remember, that's what Dana Brooke used to do all the time in NXT. Whenever she would do interviews interviews, backstage interviews, she would pat the interviewer on the head and be very condescending. Now it's kind of like the karma coming back around, as now Charlotte is doing it to Dana. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the way Dana's being treated like this. I don't like the fact that she's a submissive manager or protege to Charlotte. I'm not liking this at all. I want to see Dana come into her own, and I want to see her become a much better talent in the ring. And I think that that's something that definitely needs to be looked at and definitely needs to be taken seriously, because I believe that Dana is an incredible talent. And I do think that she could do well on her own and doesn't need to be in Charlotte's corner all the time. And I'm about to get into the match between Charlotte and Bayley, but I do see that we have a caller on the line. So we'll take a moment here before we get into the match. We'll take this call, see what's on the person's mind. And hello, you're on the Boochcast.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tom.
Oh, hey, how you doing, Tom?
Hey, it's going pretty good. I just tuned in, so I assume you're talking Raw, or what's your topic?
Oh, we're talking about Monday Night Raw. I was about to get into the match between Charlotte versus Bayley.
Nice. Do you mind if I change the subject quickly to a SmackDown topic, or
Sure.
just a quick question on that?
Sure, go ahead.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess what I'm wondering is, to me, this upcoming SmackDown pay-per-view, which is coming up on Sunday, kind of confirms almost every fear you could have had about SmackDown when you saw what the roster looked like right off the bat. I mean, outside of the Ambrose Styles match, I mean, you're looking at almost like glorified version of WWE superstars. I mean, yeah, you got some legitimate guys on there, but how long do you think it's going to take SmackDown to build their roster? What can they do to SmackDown to improve the names or improve what's going on there? And just, I mean, do you really think they can put together monthly pay-per-views when they really only have about 4 combinations of matches that are even interesting to begin with? I mean, what do you think they're going to do here for the next 4 to 5 months?
Well, what they definitely need to do is they need to improve upon mostly the women and tag team divisions. I think the singles men division is fine for the most part. If you can blend different types of matches, I think Cena putting over AJ Styles at SummerSlam was a big deal. I think that was very helpful because it helped AJ Styles get to the level that he's at. That's why I believe at Backlash, the number one thing that needs to happen is AJ Styles has to win. See, he has to be the world champion because he just beat John Cena and has the never give up armband on his head that Cena dropped in the middle of the ring, which was poetic. So definitely Styles needs to be the champion. I think that they need to get a few more. They need to bring some more women in, and because having just six women is not going to be enough for a women's division. I like the fact the Headbangers came into SmackDown. I hope to see them on a more regular basis. But the key thing they need to do in the next few months is build more tag teams and build more women and get more women on their roster so that the tag team titles and the women's title actually mean something, and it's not just bouncing back and forth between the same 7 or 8 people.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I mean, I would say that the fact that Cena is now seemingly a part-time guy, not fully part-time, obviously, but doesn't seem like he's going to be an every-week person. I think when you eliminate him for the most part for, say, 3 or 4 months out of the year now, you have to assume, that roster at the top is so thin, and I mean, at this point, I don't even know who on. I mean, yes, I just think the way things are going, when Shinsuke Nakamura eventually comes up, he's going to Raw. I could see them bringing Joe there, but it just, and this is more a dual-pronged point. I mean, you look at the fact that they just left Sami Zayn on Raw for no reason. I mean, Sami Zayn would be a huge help to SmackDown, and that leads me into the fact that just, it's kind of stunning to me that they, and this is kind of how I think the WWE views the intelligence of its own fans. They built up, I think it was only 2 months ago, this Zayn and Owens big, this is the end of their feud, this is the last match they'll ever have, blah, blah. And then they just throw it at us on Raw like it's nothing, and don't mention that. Just don't mention any of that build to their last match at all, as if we're all just going to forget. I mean, it's these kind of things. It's the small details that they just don't pay attention to. It's the stories that they prove to not care about in the long term that makes it hard to care about them in the short term, right? Like, how can we care about a match that they built up as the last match ever, even though we knew it wasn't going to be? But for them to just keep this on a Raw, I mean, if they were going to have this match again, they should have had it be something as big as Zayn has to win the Royal Rumble, or I mean, I don't know. It's just like to just throw it on a Raw 2 months later and give it 12 minutes and no build. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it just erases that whole feud for me.
Yeah, I particularly did not enjoy that. I'm glad you brought that up. I actually said this just before you called in. How disappointed I was that they put Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, because it was supposed to be their last fight. Like the thing in WWE is that no rivalry dies forever unless someone's retiring. And so I knew that eventually at some point down the road, we would see Sami and Kevin mix it up again. But I was hoping it would be like 6 months to a year from now, after Kevin Owens had fought a couple other people, after you had Sami Zayn go his route, maybe become the United States champion or something like that. But I think to make it come back this early, it doesn't really hurt Kevin Owens. He's a Universal Champion, but I felt that it hurt Sami Zayn tremendously. Like, I was very disappointed in that, and I felt that, to throw matches together like that, that's what I kind of thought the draft was going to prevent. Because I've heard them say in interviews that one of the great things about the draft was that we wouldn't see stuff like this anymore, where they're throwing random people together and having them fight repetitively week after week. At least Dean Ambrose said that in an interview. He said, Jesus, how many times did I fight Bray Wyatt and Kevin Owens in a week? Like, more than I can count. The best thing about this draft is you won't have to see stuff like that anymore. And here we are seeing it in the main event. Like, I would have preferred Kevin Owens, if you're going to book him in a match. I mean, I know he's not popular, but I would have at least put him in the ring with Roman Reigns, because he also got screwed over in the Fatal 4-Way. And that would have been a better route. Like, have Kevin Owens beat Roman or something. Like, I know they're fighting next week, but I would have preferred anybody in that ring with Kevin other than Sami Zayn because I felt that it destroyed whatever they did at Battleground.
Yeah, I mean, I love Kevin Owens. I think that if they do this correctly, he's someone who can play a true heel, which is something you don't see that often. Even though he's going to get cheered, I mean, he showed that he can spin that right back on the fans. I think he'll always be cheered in a way, but I still just think, and it's almost a waste of breath at this point, they missed a huge opportunity just turning Reigns last week. If they were going to turn someone and put the belt on them, I mean, Reigns as a heel, I know that, I mean, it would have been interesting because right now what they're doing with Reigns is just, I mean, this Finn Balor injury has forced them to throw Reigns back into the main event picture sooner than he should have been. And, I mean, the fans just hate this guy. They just absolutely hate him. And it's just, I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't know, like, I mean, are they going to put him into this triple threat match, or are they just going to beat him clean? Because I could see Seth Rollins running in or someone running in and turning this into a triple threat match. And if that happens, I mean, in order for Owens to be successful as this champion, I think they need to not treat him as a cowardly heel. He needs to be someone who, you know, he needs to fight only when he wants to, but at the same time, like, I'm really worried he's going to take the pinfall from Reigns next week. It's going to be a triple threat. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't, I'm worried they're going to drop the ball on this dude and just on Owens in general, but I'm going to stay optimistic for now. But I don't really know what they do with Reigns. I mean, if they have Reigns take the clean pin next week, that sends a clear message to the fans that Reigns is a notch low for a while, but I don't think that's the message they want to send to anyone. So I'd be surprised if they actually did that.
Me too. I don't know if Roman is going to be included in this match or not. I think if he does somehow get involved in the triple threat match, I don't think he's going to win the title. But I think the only way they would make that a triple threat is because they're trying to throw in the fact that even though Triple H turned on Seth Rollins, you know, Reigns got screwed over as well. So that might be why they try to work that in there. But my original thought was I was under the impression that Roman Reigns and Rusev were going to fight again at Clash of the Champions because their match at SummerSlam ended in a no contest. It never happened. So I thought they were going to try to find a way to bring that match back to Clash of the Champions and maybe have Roman take the U.S. title from Rusev. But apparently he's still on his honeymoon with Lana, apparently, from what I've been reading online. That's why we haven't seen much of him. But I don't know if he's going to show up, if that's what they're going to do. But that's where I thought they were going. But I think that they're going to try to do this for now. But if I can't guarantee that Roman's not going to beat Kevin Owens. He probably will next week. But I don't see him winning the Universal title right away. I think they're really invested in Kevin Owens right now. I think Kevin's going to retain no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, what I think would be an incredible match would be if they can keep Owens strong. And the way things change in this company, you know, I mean, I put such a small percentage chance on this happening. But if they can keep Owens strong and carry this through to a Lesnar-Owens match at WrestleMania, I mean, that's one of the matches I would love to see. I mean, that would be an incredible match. Just Owens and Heyman on the mic. And I think the match itself would be incredible. And I think that Owens can match physicality to an extent with Brock. I fully expect them to not carry that all the way through, because I think by the time that WrestleMania comes around and the title's actually on the line, they're gonna end up putting it on who they perceive to be a bigger name, which is unfortunately going to be, I think, either Reigns or Rollins. But I think we'll probably see Owens be champion through the Rumble, and then I think they'll slowly start moving it off of him, would be my guess. But yeah. How long do you think he has the title, if you had to guess?
Probably, I would say I give it maybe 4 or 5 months. I think he could be champion. I see him, like I said, I see him holding that belt for a very long time because of just the fact that Triple H helped him. So I think that they're going to try to hold on to that for a while and slowly, right around WrestleMania time, I think he could drop the belt. I see Triple H slowly coming back around WrestleMania time, and I think that Triple H and Seth Rollins are going to have a WrestleMania match. That's what I think is going to happen. So if Kevin Owens does lose the belt, I don't see it happening to Seth Rollins unless they want Triple H to invoke his rematch clause that he never got from losing the belt to Roman. But I don't, and I think they might try to work an Owens-Lesnar match because I heard rumors for a while that originally they had planned at one point to have Kevin Owens and Lesnar fight at SummerSlam, but they later changed it to Randy Orton. And I do think that there's a chance we could see an Orton-Lesnar 2. I know they're doing it at some live event in Chicago, but I don't know if that means they're going to do it at a televised show in the future or not. But I definitely know that I see Triple H facing Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So there's a good chance that if Owens does lose the belt, it might end up being to Roman or something. I don't know if they put him in the ring with Lesnar. Or they might have Lesnar. They might make a decision to put the Universal title on Lesnar. I don't know. They might decide to do that. Anything can happen in the WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I would for sure say you're right. I think it's going to be Rollins Triple H. I don't think that match needs the belt.
Oh.
And with Owens, I mean, like I would love to see him hold this title for a while. I mean, if they aren't going to give it to Rollins, I mean, I guess what you could be looking at would be Finn Balor Owens. So Balor returns for WrestleMania. I don't exactly know how that works. That probably means they'd have to have a SmackDown person win the Rumble. But yeah, I mean, you know, I think there's a lot of different ways that they can go. And we'll see. I mean, at the very least, I think putting it on Owens is at least fresh. And the one worry that I have is that I think Raw has been, since the brand split, so much more enjoyable. It's so much easier to get through the 3 hours. Sometimes it's definitely still way longer than it should be, but it's easier to get through. And I think so much of that is because, yes, there's an authority figure, but everything doesn't revolve around the authority figure, right? Like, the authority figure just makes matches that make sense. Like, they don't really step in the way. I'm worried that this whole thing is just ending towards the return of the authority figure and just something that we just don't need anymore. I mean, like, WWE seems to give us these brief respites and breaks of like 2 months, 3 months on these things. They don't realize that we need a break of like 3 years on these authority figures. I mean, I hope it doesn't result in that. I hope it doesn't result in like Stephanie's with Triple H and it all turns around within a month and a half. I mean, I really hope that, because I think that the way things are going right now with there being authority figures, but them not really being in every segment, and I think it's a nice recipe right now. I hope they don't change it.
Absolutely. And I like it because it makes sense with a brand split not to do that, because because it's not necessary. It's not really necessary to have like an authority figure necessarily in storylines, and it makes it a lot easier that way. I know that back then when the authority was running wild and there was no brand extension, it kind of made sense. And I kind of liked it because Triple H had kind of like the Vince McMahon type role for a while, where he occasionally got in the ring, but most of the time he was the guy making the matches, doing everything, and kind of having that heel babyface scenario and building someone up. But one of the things about the brand split was people wanted to stop the authority thing, and I liked it. That's why when Stephanie picked Mick Foley as her general manager, that was really what made me want to tune into Raw. There was a part of me that felt that there were rumors going around that Triple H was going to be the general manager and the authority was going to start all over again. But as soon as she picked Mick Foley, you knew, okay, there's going to be less of Stephanie. She's not going to be a crazy, annoying heel, and we're going to see some great moments there. And, of course, Daniel Bryan, that news broke weeks in advance. We already knew Shane was going to pick Daniel, and that's working out great over there. And I just feel like the way the brand split is now, I agree. They don't need an authority angle, and I don't know if they're going to do one or not, but I do see Triple H at some point appearing on Raw, if for no other reason than to be the guy who backs Kevin Owens.
I agree. I gotta hop off, but enjoy the conversation. I'll call back in another time.
Absolutely, man. I hope you do. Great to talk to you.
Thanks. Great talking.
All right. See you later. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Tom. And that was a great conversation. I like that. A genuine wrestling fan wanting to have a genuine wrestling conversation. It's a hell of a lot better than the guy who prank called as Michael Caine and the guy who prank called as Marty Jannetty yesterday. See, great talks like that, I enjoy. Hopefully he calls back in the future. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go back to Charlotte and Bayley. Now, this match was amazing. It's two of the four horsewomen competing in the ring and doing it effortlessly. Charlotte, and this is the interesting thing I've learned about Charlotte. When she's in the ring with any of the four horsewomen, whether it's Bayley, Sasha Banks, or Becky Lynch, she has the ability to have an amazing match with those three women. But if she wrestles any of the other women, she tends to fall flat on her face. And I'm not saying the other women suck in the ring. I'm not saying that Charlotte has a hard time carrying them. I'm saying that I feel like Charlotte gets carried through the match with the other horsewomen. And I will say Bayley was amazing in this match. Bayley definitely did a hell of a job in this match. Bayley was amazing. She was talented. She knew exactly what she was doing in the ring. The timing was impeccable. The moves were awesome. Bayley is a great entertainer. She really is. Like, she has that ability to, like, hulk up and be the baby face and get crazy in the ring. And she delivers each and every time she steps into that ring. She delivers. And she's an amazing talent. I have all the respect in the world for Bayley. And she's getting her what she deserves in this match. Now, of course, Dana goes for a second. Bayley gets a head of steam and connects with his shoulder to the midsection. Goes for a second one. Dana Brooke pulls Charlotte out of the way. Bayley kicks Dana down, and Charlotte rolls her up. Bayley kicks out of two, and Charlotte is sent flying into Dana. Bayley then catches Charlotte with the Bayley to belly. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match, Bayley. And I love that. Bayley got the pinfall clean in the middle of the ring, which is exactly what she needed. Bayley is now legitimately solidifying herself as a potential number one contender to the women's championship. She's definitely proven that she can beat Charlotte. And of course, the distraction from Dana, the inadvertent distraction from Dana can also be seen as helping matters if you want to say that this saved Charlotte from potentially looking weak. I would say that if it was a roll-up, but it wasn't. It was a Bayley to belly. So I say that gave her the win. And obviously, Bayley needed the win more than Charlotte did. Because Bayley still has to establish herself with the main roster. And you can't bury her in favor of Charlotte, who's already a long-reigning women's champion, already on her second title reign, and is already still annoying the crap out of everyone here. So obviously Bayley and Charlotte had a great match. Charlotte did hold her own in this match as well and did very well. But overall, I would say Bayley, this was her coming out moment for WWE. She had a better match with her than she had with Dana Brooke. And on that note, after that match, we cut to the backstage area after a brief commercial break where Charlotte is backstage and she is pissed off at Dana Brooke. And here's what happens between the students and the teacher.
Dana, my blood is flowing. I mean, how hard were my directions? You watch my match and you take notes on the clipboard. I'm sorry. Bailey, no, listen to me. Bailey, just be me. The girl who doesn't belong on Raw, just be me. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Stop. Listen. I was just embarrassed in front of the entire world by this Destiny Street kid. I promise you I will do better next time. Charlotte, please, I'm going to do better next time. Please, another kid, I swear. Make it up. I'm going to make it up to you. Remember who you are? You're sorry.
Ow. That's gotta hurt. Well, that looked pretty painful. Charlotte just slapped the taste out of Dana Brooke's mouth. Now, the question is Dana still are these two still is Charlotte just mad at Dana? Or is Dana officially kicked out of Charlotte's inner circle? Obviously, Dana wants to remain in that circle, but I really want to see Dana Brooke branch out on her own. I really do. I believe that Dana Brooke needs to branch out on her own. Dana Brooke needs to do her own thing. Dana Brooke needs to be a star. I'm not saying she needs to be a champion yet, but she definitely needs to be a star. She needs to stand on her own 2 feet, and she should stop being a lackey. She was a lackey for Emma. Now she's a lackey for Charlotte. This shit needs to stop. Dana Brooke is more than capable of standing on her own 2 feet. And I know that Charlotte is a heel, but if you still want anyone to take her seriously, she has to start facing people on her own more. It's like Desmond and I have said before. Ric Flair had a reputation for being the dirtiest player in the game, but most of the cheating he did by himself. He didn't always have outside interference. He rarely had outside interference. He would usually rake the eyes or hit a low blow or grab or use the ropes for leverage and a roll-up pin. Like, Ric Flair had different ways of being the dirtiest player in the game. Charlotte's only way of being dirty is having either Ric Flair cheat for her, or have Dana Brooke cheat for her. And that doesn't make you the dirtiest player in the game. It makes you look like a joke, especially if it's done too many times. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next official match of the evening, which is a random man named Kyle Roberts going one-on-one against Bo Dallas. And Bo Dallas walking down the ramp carrying a campaign sign that says, "Believe in Bo." And then Kyle Roberts in the ring. Bo Dallas grabs the microphone, and before the match, here's what he has to say to Kyle Roberts.
Don't you know you reap what you sow? There's nowhere to go. Believe in Bo. You believe now, Saxon?
Wow. And what's interesting about this was that Bo Dallas came out to the ring. He did not smile. He did not skip. He straight up walked down that ramp, got in that ring, and got in Kyle Roberts' face. Not only that, he was vicious. Bo Dallas was vicious. He was aggressive. He was violent. He was the best version of himself that I had ever seen. He delivers some vicious knees, punches away at him, knees him in the face, hits a rolling cutter for the win, and then walks out of the ring. Bo Dallas has a quick match where he quickly disposes of Kyle Roberts. Now, obviously, Kyle Roberts is a jobber, so naturally, Bo Dallas was going to win that match. But it showed off the new gimmick of Bo Dallas. And it was amazing. I'm liking the new Bo Dallas. He's dangerous. He's vicious in the ring. He's got a new aggressive point of view. He walked around the ring with a sign, but he didn't do that goofy believe victory lap that he used to do. He's now like legitimately being taken seriously as a wrestler, as a competitor, as someone you legitimately do not want to fuck with. And that, to me, is what made this match great. That, to me, is what made this match spectacular. And I definitely look forward to seeing what happens next with Bo Dallas. I think Bo Dallas has a legit chance to be a real star now. I see him becoming a mid-card talent, definitely. With this kind of attitude, he could definitely become a United States champion. I don't know if he'll ever be Universal champion. That might be a few years away. But Bo Dallas definitely has a chance now to be a solid mid-card player with this gimmick. Especially if they book it properly and have us actually taken seriously this time. For now, it seems like they're on the right track. And that's important. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area where we see Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho talking it up backstage. Two best friends, Jericho. Kevin Owens has a non-title match with Sami Zayn later on. Jericho has a non-title as a one-on-one match with Seth Rollins. And here's what Jericho has to say about their upcoming matches.
You know what I'm going to do tonight to Seth Rollins? I'm going to beat him down because you're my best friend. You should go out first. Next best friend. I love that. Let him go first. He's genius. But how much he disrespect you like this? I mean, I was calling you Triple H's chosen one. But that's fine. Right? I don't mind asking you from behind. I mean, a suit. You got a brand new suit. You got $750. Looks every penny of it. You got a fresh new haircut. He's going to treat you like that? No. You're the longest reigning champion, universal champion in WWE history. Okay? He's not going to treat you like that on my watch. Okay? Tonight, I'm going to give Rollins the gift of Jericho, and I'm going to beat him down because you're my best friend. Rollins is just an ass. Give me some love. Go do it.
That's right. Jericho and Owens, I gotta say, these guys definitely have great chemistry together. If Kevin Owens wasn't the Universal Champion right now, I would definitely see Jericho going for the tag team titles. I do think at some point that needs to happen. Either that needs to happen, or after Kevin Owens runs through the entire roster, assuming he does, I think he needs to beat every big star there is, and then eventually Jericho needs to come up to Owens and ask for a title shot. And then maybe amongst friends, they can have a friendly match in the spirit of competition and fight for the Universal title. I see Jericho going for the Universal title at some point. Now, WWE logic would probably make them break up to go for the championship, But I would just have Jericho be like, hey, man, let's just see who the better man is. And then maybe Kevin Owens wins and Jericho shakes his hand and whatever. Something happens. But either way, I definitely see something going on here. I don't think Jericho will be able to sit idly by and just let Kevin Owens be Universal Champion forever. I think once Kevin Owens has beaten every credible challenger there is to beat, at some point Jericho is going to want to go for that championship. And that could inevitably cause the breakup. Kevin Owens might see it as disrespect that Jericho wants to fight him for the championship. It's like, dude, you've beaten everybody. What the hell? Like, there's a million different ways this thing can go. Because ego is a very powerful thing. A very powerful thing. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will now move on to the next match of the evening. Chris Jericho, one-on-one against Seth Rollins. And this match was aggressive. Very aggressive. These two men damn near killed each other. Seth Rollins was the most aggressive I have ever seen him. Ever in his life. These two guys damn near killed each other. There was high-flying moves, back and forth action, and Rollins just being the most aggressive version of himself. I mean, it was amazing. These guys looked like if they weren't trying to hurt each other, they did a good job of hiding it, because it looked like they legitimately wanted to hurt each other, even though I know they didn't. But that's what you're supposed to. You're supposed to make it look when you go out to the ring for a match. You're supposed to make it look like, holy shit, these guys want to kill each other. And they did. And, of course, Kevin Owens is watching the match backstage, and he looks kind of stunned by how well Seth Rollins is performing. And eventually Rollins hits the ropes, counters a code breaker by holding him up. Jericho ducks a kick and connects with an enziguri. Jericho hits the ropes, but Rollins quickly catches him with a pedigree. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match, Seth Rollins. And obviously Seth Rollins was going to win because he's going to the match with Kevin Owens. But either way, Jericho still put on a hell of a match, and him and Rollins had amazing chemistry working together in the ring. Jericho showing that he can still go even with the younger generation, and Seth Rollins is considered to be the best of his generation by a lot of his peers. So to see Jericho have a great match and hold his own in the ring like that is definitely amazing. And it's truly a sight to see. And I'm very, very impressed with how this went down. Very impressed. Excuse me. And it just looks like these guys definitely knew how to fight and how to kill each other. And, at the end of the day, they put on an amazing match. It was entertainment at the highest level. And then, of course, after the match, it's great. Interesting to see that Seth Rollins is still using the pedigree, despite the fact that Triple H turned on him. But I think that he's going to be still using the pedigree for a while to send a message to Triple H. And like I said before, at some point we are going to see Triple H versus Seth Rollins, and I think it's going to be a battle of the pedigree. I think if Seth Rollins ends up beating Triple H, I don't know if he will or not, but if Seth Rollins does in fact end up beating Triple H, then I think Seth Rollins after that will stop using the pedigree. Although I don't know what his finisher will be because he's banned from using the curb stomp. And if he can't use the pedigree, really, what can he use is the question. And I hope they ban that buckled powerbomb move because it's not. We've already proven it's not safe. It's not safe. But either way, still a great match, and props to both men for a job well done. And on that note, we're going to move on. Let me see. Okay. We're going to move on to the next match of the evening. This one, oh my God. It's the third match in the best of 7 series. Cesaro versus Sheamus. And we should know that going into this match, Cesaro is 0-2. Sheamus has won 2 matches in a row. And last night made it 3. Sheamus has once again beaten Cesaro, and this match was pretty much the same as all the other matches we've seen out of these two. They once again put on an incredible match, and the match once again ended the exact same way. And what was interesting about it was Cesaro was in pain for most of the match, especially when Sheamus hitting the Irish Curse backbreaker, the Celtic Cross, and just dropping multiple Irish Curse backbreakers on Cesaro, who had tape all over his lower back where he got hurt going into the ring post last week. I mean, this match was brutal. Sheamus and Cesaro have amazing chemistry with each other, and it was shown in this match. I think that this best of 7 series, if it goes the distance, it doesn't seem like it will, but if it does end up going a distance, it will put both these men on the map. Now, they said that match number 4 in the best of 7 series is going to take place on Wednesday at the O2 Arena in London when WWE tours the UK, which I'm not too happy about that. Now, here's the thing. The only way I see this going well is if Cesaro wins. And then he comes in on Raw and maybe cuts a promo and talks about, about winning the match. Now, this is the big question that's on everyone's mind. Is Sheamus going to win and just completely destroy Cesaro, or is Cesaro going to start making a comeback? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if Sheamus wins on Wednesday, tomorrow, and sweeps Cesaro for nothing, not only will it bury Cesaro, it will piss off the entire WWE universe. Right now, they're already not happy that Sheamus is up 3-0. Now, if they're planning on having Cesaro make a comeback, similar to what the Red Sox did against the Yankees years ago in 2004, then maybe that would be a compelling story where Cesaro wins in London. Then he wins again and again and again 4 times in a row and gets the victory. Because that would definitely be a good way to work the best of 7 series. I've never seen it happen before. Usually I see 1-1 or 1-2, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 2, and so on and so forth. And then they bounce back and forth victories. This is one of the rare moments where I've seen somebody literally dominate the whole thing. And if Cesaro can make the comeback and win the next 3 in a row and get it 3-3 and then have them have the last fight to see who would win, then it would definitely help out both teams. But if you have Sheamus sweep it, it will bury Cesaro, which will not make fans happy. Because Cesaro ultimately is the guy they want to see because they say a title shot's in their future. And I definitely want to see Cesaro fight for the Universal title. I definitely want to see Cesaro fight and become the Universal Champion. Now, at the same time, I wouldn't really have a problem with Sheamus being Universal Champion either. But I feel Cesaro deserves the opportunity more than Sheamus, because Sheamus is already a multiple-time world champion. And the Universal title, even though it's not the same as the world title, it's still that version of the world title. And I feel like Cesaro needs the push more than Sheamus, because we need to start getting people to become legit main eventers. Now, if at some point down the road Sheamus takes the belt from Cesaro, then so be it. But I think Cesaro needs to win this best of 7 series and needs to become a future Universal Champion. Most definitely. And then, of course, after the vicious backbreaker, Cesaro screams in pain, tells the referee not to call off the match. Sheamus levels him with a bro kick to get the 3-0 victory. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow on WWE.com, because they're obviously not going to show this event. But I guess we'll find out on WWE.com whether or not Sheamus sweeps Cesaro or Cesaro wins and stays in the game. And on that note, we're going to cut back to the ring again after a brief little commercial break. And the Shining Stars, Primo and Epico, are in the ring. And obviously they're talking about Labor Day, because yesterday was Labor Day. We had a Labor Day edition of the Boochcast. And the Shining Stars have something to say about this national holiday.
Here we go. Labor Day is supposed to represent the last day of summer here in America. Primo, but luckily for us, every day is summer in Puerto Rico. That's why we wanted to invite every one of you to come to Puerto. Sorry. How about coming to Jersey? What do you know? What do we got over here? A cup of hash? A cup of hash? You guys come out here trying to sell everybody a Caribbean timeshare. Nobody's going to buy a Caribbean timeshare from either one of you. The way I see it is, you Caribbean a cup of haters, and you pick the wrong place and the wrong time to hate, because we are in the middle of America, right here in Kansas City. And it just so happens today is Labor Day. And the irony is, listening to you speak is so painful, it makes me feel like I'm giving labor. What's the matter? So you got a little bit of that gas? Huh? Nah, I ain't got no gas, Cash. It's Labor Day. I think I'm going into labor. Sit down, sit down. I've watched plenty of ER. Remember your breathing techniques, okay? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? He's beautiful. He is beautiful, Zoe. What a creation. He is beautiful. What should we call him? Well, you know what? I think we should name him after the shining stars. Because just like the shining stars, when I look at them, one word comes to mind. And that's because shining stars, there's only one word to describe you. And I'm going to spell it out for you. The Enzo and Cass said that they got freedom on episode of Shining Stars.
All right, I gotta say something right now. That is probably one of the best Enzo and Cass promos I have ever seen. They actually did a birthing in the ring. They pretended to give birth, and Cass was doing the whole, Lamaze exercises and the how you doing? How you doing? Like the breathing that you do, the breathing you're supposed to do. They teach in Lamaze to like calm yourself down before you push. That's from Bill Cosby himself. But anyway, it was a great segment. Enzo actually pretended to go into labor and deliver a kid, and and they named the baby after the Shining Stars, Soft, SAWFT. Then Enzo actually gently gets out of the ring and pantomimes like he's holding a real baby and gives it to a couple in the audience. And the couple is good sports. They literally play along like they have a real baby. That is so freaking funny. Like, Enzo and Cass embody entertainment. They ooze charisma. They are so entertaining. And they proved it with this brand new skit that they do. Now, of course, the opening is repetitive, but once they say bada boom, realest guys in a room, how you doing? Usually what happens after that is a new bit, and then they close it out with the same way, the one word to describe you. So they have the basic thing, the beginning and the end are the same, but the middle is always different. And the middle is always great, no matter what they do. It's very well done segment. And I love Enzo and Cass. They did a hell of a job than Primo and Epico talking about every day is summer in Puerto Rico. So nobody goes to school in Puerto Rico? Nobody has an education in Puerto Rico? And that's usually what the end of summer in America means. Everybody goes fucking back to school. So you telling me every day is summer, so nobody goes to school in Puerto Rico? There's uneducated people in Puerto Rico? Is that the impression I'm getting from that? By the way, I know there isn't. I'm just trying to make a bit here in case anybody out there from Puerto Rico is going, how dare you say people from Puerto Rico are not educated? I'm not saying that. I'm making a joke about the fact they say every day is summer in Puerto Rico. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the end of summer. It's also the end of our vacation. We go back to goddamn school. That's usually what that means. And I know from people in Puerto Rico are educated. My co-host Elvis has a girlfriend from Puerto Rico who is very educated. And on that note, we'll move on to the match, to the actual match itself, the Shining Stars versus Enzo and Cass. And this match was good. Pretty good. Wasn't as good as the in-ring promo segment, but still a great match nonetheless. Enzo and Cass are an amazing team, and Primo and Epico have always had great chemistry in the ring, whether they were themselves, whether they were the Los Matadores, or even now as the Shining Stars. They're a great team and have amazing chemistry. Now, of course, Epico quickly stops Enzo from making a tag by hitting a back suplex, a German suplex, and a suplex. So I guess Epico has a bit of a suplex city of his own going on. I'd love to see Brock Lesnar do those combos at one time. I think that would be awesome. And then, of course, in the end, Primo gets in the ring. Enzo gives him a crossbody block. Epico then rolls him up and grabs the tights. 1, 2, 3. The winners of the match, the Shining Stars. Now, as you guys know, I mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of Enzo and Cass. And there's one thing that I keep saying over and over again. It's that Enzo and Cass need to be the tag team champions on Raw. But that being said, I am kind of glad that the Shining Stars won this match. Just because the Shining Stars need to be taken seriously as a tag team. And because it was a roll-up while grabbing the tights, it doesn't hurt Enzo and Cass. You know, Enzo and Cass can still get in the ring and be like, what the hell? I can't believe this happened. I can't believe they cheated us like that. So it leaves it open to rematches. And it definitely can help build up the Shining Stars as a credible tag team to be, you know, taken seriously. And I feel like that's something that they need to do in WWE. I feel like they need to start, you know, building up their other tag teams as well. So the Enzo and Cass at this point, they can take a loss because they've been doing so well. As long as it goes to somebody that can use the push, and the Shining Stars could use the push. So I'm not too upset that they won. Not really. As long as it doesn't hurt Enzo and Cass in the long run. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area with Sami Zayn, who's being interviewed by Tom Phillips. And he is going to be once again facing Kevin Owens. And I've had a lot to say about that. Tom, who called in earlier, he had a lot to say about that. But here's what the underdog from the underground has to say about that.
You thought it was over but tonight you find yourself in another battle against your bitter rival, Kevin Owens. Only this time, Kevin is the WWE Universal Champion.
Yeah, I really thought that just beating Kevin would solve all my problems. I thought my career won't move forward unless I beat Kevin. That was everything. Beat Kevin. And you know what? I did it. I did what I said I was going to do, and I beat him at Battleground. But since then, what's happened? You know, to be honest, I find myself feeling a little directionless, and he's the WWE Universal Champion. And I'd love to come here and tell you that it doesn't bother me, but the truth is, it stings. There's a little bit of jealousy there. A little bit of jealousy. Come on, Sammy. You know what's funny? Just a couple of years ago, it felt like I was trying to catch up to you. You got signed by WWE first. You won the NXT title first. A couple months ago, you even got drafted to Raw before I did. But this has always been the finish line, hasn't it? And guess what, Sammy? I won the race. You know what? You know what this means? It means I am better than you. Even at your best, the only time you had real success was with me backing you up. And now I'm WWE Universal Champion, and you are nothing. Well, you know, that's funny because I'm sure I didn't look like nothing when I beat you in the middle of the ring at Battleground. And you know as well as I do, the race between you and me, it's not over, and it never, ever will be. But you know what? It's fine. You're right. You are the champion, so enjoy your moment in the sun, because trust me, mark my words, I will win the WWE Universal Championship too. And guess what? When I do it, I'll do it all on my own. I won't need Triple H to hand it to me on a silver platter.
Burn! Burn! That was a good burn by Sami Zayn at the end. Now, obviously, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, you know, they want to once again go at it again. Kevin Owens bragging about, I won the race because I became, the Universal Champion before you did. Which we all know is a complete bunch of bullshit. And, you know, by the way, as I mentioned before the beginning of the show, how exhausted and tired I am, so that's probably why I yawned. But normally I would hit the mic, I would mute the microphone, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm so bored by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn anyway. I felt the yawn was warranted in this case. So I was like, just don't care. I've seen these guys fight already. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to be honest. I don't have anything positive or negative to say about this because I genuinely don't give a shit. And on that note, we move on to the next official match of the evening, which is Ann Esposito versus Nia Jax. Now, Nia Jax is basically once again taking on a jobber, who we find out later is best friends with Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox actually tweeted that she was glad to see her friend Ann come out to the ring, and the fact that she's going to get a chance to debut on Monday Night Raw, even though she once again became just another victim on the list of Nia Jax. And just Nia basically destroys Ann Esposito. Grabs her face, powers her into the corner, slams her around, hits a running butt bump. Ann comes back with a forearm and some kicks before applying a sleeper hold. Nia slams her in the corner but can't get her to release the hold. Nia then slams her off and quickly kicks her, but Nia kicks her in the back. Nia whips her down before connecting with a trio of hip attacks in the corner, then connects with a fireman's carry into a power slam. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match, Nia Jax. Now, obviously, I'm not shocked that Nia Jax won this match. What I am shocked was how well of a fight Ann Esposito put up. Out of all the women that have stepped in the ring with Nia Jax since her debut on the main roster, she is the first one to actually bring the fight to Nia Jax. I honestly think that Ann Esposito is definitely going to get a contract after this. I definitely think she has what it takes to be a star or to be a legit competitor on the Raw roster, or at the very least, put her in NXT and let her build herself up there, because she definitely proved herself in this match, especially with the sleeper hold, damn near choking out Nia Jax. That was very, very well done. And that actually impressed me and made me not want to have to get up and go to the bathroom while Nia Jax is on stage. Is in the ring, I should say. So, great showing by Ann Esposito in this match. Props to her. Very well done. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next segment here, and I'm aware with the time we got, this is going to send me into overtime, but I am perfectly okay with that. I'm going to finish up the Raw recap today because I have to. And this is basically Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows in the ring claiming to be retirement specialists for old farts. And they basically talk about, you know, the retiring of the Dudley Boys and set to take on the New Day. And because we find out that Gallows and Anderson will once again, due to the disqualification in SummerSlam, will now be facing the New Day for the WWE Tag Team titles at Clash of the Champions on September the 25th. And here's what Gallows and Anderson have to say about wanting to retire the New Day.
I'm Luke Gallows. And I'm Carl Anderson. We're retirement specialists. After retiring the Dudley Boys, we now have our sights set on retiring the New Day as Raw Tag Team Champions at Clash of Champions. That's true. We're here to prove to the New Day that they can find just as much fulfillment in retirement as they do as the Tag Team Champions. So tonight, we want to show all of you exactly what the New Day is like under our care in the future. So without further ado, from the octogenarian leisure, no, let's just call it what it is. Yeah. From the Gallows and Anderson Old Farts home, please join us in welcoming the Old Day. Come on. Oh, Kansas City, don't you dare be hard. Clap for your world famous two-time champs and feel the power. It's an Old Day, yes. God, look at him. Wow. Oh, boy. Josie. Those suspenders are so booty. Is that old Xavier or is that old Tommy John? Hey, old Big E, don't throw on yourself or fall asleep at the wheel or, my God, his gun is in front of the steering wheel. Hey, look at the size of that tiny trombone. I guess what they say is true. With old age comes shrinkage. Let's help him in the ring. Come on. Right here, guys, this way. Come on, old fella. This is right here. Come on, let's try to get you. Hey, old Biggie. Hey, man. Come on. All right, come on, right here. Get up here. Let's go. Yep. This way, get you some glucose to me. Come on, old fella. Come on. Here you go. All right, look, I got your walker. Watch your gut there. Try to steady yourself. Grab your mic. Wood. Come on. Here. Come on, Jose. All together now. Okay. All right, guys. I just have one question. Yeah. What in the hell happened to you? Yeah. Well, at Clash of Champions, you guys beat the PP out of us. Whoa. PP? What do you mean PP? That's right. I said it. The power of positivity. Oh, the POPC. I get it. Yeah. Dr. Woods, in your medical opinion, how have we treated you in the future? Oh, geez, he can't hear me. It might be the hair, it might be the earwax, I don't know. He's a little older. Dr. Woods, in your medical opinion, hang on, let me get an old fresh here. Oh,
sure you still can't hear me. Things aren't going well here. Okay, hey. Dr. Wood! In your... Oh, Dr. Wood! Dr. Wood! Oh, my DM's over here. Finally kicking in. Oh, I remember I got hit up by old choo-choo Bailey from old Kalamazoo. Nobody wants to hear any of those old smoky stories from back then. Hush. Be quiet.
That's disgusting. Just like you currently, old Biggie. I mean, you clearly let yourself go.
Yeah, Biggie, you clearly given up.
I mean, your pectorals are below your waistline.
Yeah.
But you know what? I came out here fully prepared to serve you with some Metamucil, but you've clearly already soiled yourself.
You damn right. Oh, hell no.
I ain't done yet. See if I can show you some of this stuff out. So, set. Ready?
Whoa! Dad! My hip up! Get a medic! Call a medic out here!
Doctor, it's him.
Medic,
I was enjoying that glimpse into the future, Saxon. Hell, how about you get to be Booty for the night now? Here we go. How about coming back to the present with the real New Day?
What is happening right now?
This is absurd. What? That's you, Wood, that's me? If you're really making the future, then answer me this. Who is your favorite X-Man? One. Oh, you want to do the who? On 1, 2, 3.
No. Are you sure you're not my grandpappy? You got the gout? Oh, he got the gout? Okay. Wait. Hold up, guys. Seriously. If those three are us from the future, good one, guys. then that means that we definitely shouldn't be occupying the same space right now. It's way too dangerous. I mean, we definitely shouldn't be touching one another. We shouldn't come into contact. For example, if this was us and this was them, even if we were to touch just the tip of our fingers, the entire WWE universe would explode, will be destroyed. That means no more WWE universe. No. You know what, Kofi, you're right. So instead, let's just get in the ring and beat up the ball guy. Cool.
90 seconds. Seconds.
Not yet. Now I'm going to be going a little bit over time. I had a caller earlier, so I got to look around that.
Yeah, that's how it's done. Take those, old day. Well, that wasn't
10 seconds.
Or you put your food like that. We got the first mortgage. guys. Respect your elders. Our New Day unloading on our day. I dare you to laugh because this is elderly abuse. This is a serious problem. We're about to have a serious problem right now with the elder Big E. This wouldn't happen at Gallows and Anderson retirement home. Check the horse. Oh boy. They need a nurse to come. And now New Day is going to turn their sights to Anderson and Gallows and what takes place in 3 weeks of Clash of Champions in Indianapolis on pay-per-view. New Day Tag Team Champions for 379 days. As of tonight, we'll defend the tag team gold against Anderson and Gallows. And at that point, Myron, all the fun and games will be over.
Yep. The fun and games will definitely be over at Clash of the Champions. But in the meantime, in between time, I don't mind the fun and games at all. Holy shit, that was entertaining. The Old Day. Coming out, they slow down the music, the whole, old voice saying, "Don't you dare be sour." That was amazing. The old guys coming out, Gallows and Anderson making fun. And that, to me, that was old school WWE right there. When they had stuff that came out, like when DX made fun of the Spirit Squad and had midget cheerleaders come out, they're little midgets they just beat the hell out of, which I thought was really funny. Or times when when Kurt Angle bragged about Triple H potentially being a dad and had the little baby that was basically a gorilla with a giant fake nose on it to make fun of the fact that Triple H had a big nose. Obviously, the gorilla thing wasn't anything racial because Triple H and Kurt Angle are both white, but the nose thing was meant to make fun of the fact that Triple H has a big ass nose, and it was really funny. So I love when they do skits like that to make fun of their opponents. I like that. It's entertainment, especially when done right. And the Old Day was definitely done right, especially when Xavier Woods came out and the New Day came out and they're talking about who's their favorite X-Men. 1, 2, 3, Cyclops. And they both got it right. I thought that was entertaining. The whole Back to the Future references that they made, like if we see our old selves, it could cause the W Universe to explode in the space-time continuum because, causing a time paradox. Because that's what happens when you encounter your other self. At least it's what Back to the Future made you think, because it just confused everything if you ran into yourself in the past or yourself in the future or whatever, if you traveled through time. And it was kind of funny, and I liked it. It was highly entertaining. The New Day, of course, beats up on the old guys because Gallows and Anderson retreat, duck out of the ring like heels are supposed to do, and retreat to the back and let we'll see you at Clash of the Champions. And even though it's an entertaining segment, I like the fact the New Day beat up the Old Day. I still believe and I still want to see Gallows and Anderson walk out the tag team champions. I believe Gallows and Anderson, they need to walk out of here the tag team champions. They need to become the tag team champions. The New Day cannot be tag team champions anymore. No more tag team titles for the New Day. They've got to drop those belts. Otherwise, they're just going to destroy the tag team division the way the Revival is doing in NXT, as I mentioned earlier. So, Gallows and Anderson definitely got to drop those belts and drop them very soon. And On that note, we will move on to the next match of the evening, which was Jinder Mahal, still in the ISIS getup, versus Darren Young with Bob Backlund in his corner. Now, this match was, again, fairly decent. Two guys who WWE is not sure what they want to do, that they're not sure what they want to do with them, pretty much getting in the ring and brawling and kicking ass and taking names. In the end, Titus O'Neil gets up from commentary and distracts Darren Young. Almost said Eric Young. But Young still manages to hit Mahal with the gut check, get the 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match, Darren Young. So all I can say is at least Darren Young got the victory. At least they're on the way to somewhat making him great again. And then, of course, Titus O'Neil says he's going after Backlund, so Young viciously attacks him. And basically, we see these two men end up fighting and, outside the ring. The referees break it up. Young finally gets in the ring. Bob Backlund raises his arm. And they just stare down Titus O'Neil as he's being forced up the ramp by security. And obviously, this is still leading to a feud between Titus O'Neil and Darren Young for reasons I still have no idea why. It makes no sense. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't benefit the show at all. This is basically a waste of the audience's time. Because for some strange reason, WWE doesn't see money in the primetime players. And there's plenty of money to be had with this team. I don't get it. I'd like to know who in the creative team is thinking up this shit. Because it's goddamn ridiculous. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area where we see Alicia Fox coming out of the trainer's room after checking on Ann Esposito, who was severely beaten up by Nia Jax, when all of a sudden Nia Jax confronts Alicia Fox in the hallway, and here's how that unfolded.
Hey, Foxy. Yo, how's your girl doing? Well, obviously she's hurting. I bet. What's your problem, Nia? Oh, I'm sorry. Did things get a little too real for your old friend Ratchet Ann in there? This isn't a reality TV show like Total Divas. When you step to me, there are real life repercussions. Okay, yeah, you're right. This is not reality. There are real life repercussions. So I recommend you get out of my face now. Listen here, little. I said get out of my face now. Listen, you don't want to get out of my face. I want you to go. Come on, let's stop talking out. Like real women, huh?
Okay. I think it's safe to say that Alicia Fox has gone back to being the crazy bitch. We all remember Alicia Fox as the crazy bitch. Sometimes most of us wake up and wish we didn't know Alicia Fox, the crazy bitch. But nonetheless, she's gone back to being crazy. And it looks like she's about to have a feud with Nia Jax. Now she starts throwing shit around, basically starts, going crazy. Nia then pushes her into the table and walks away. So from the looks of things, I think we're about to see a feud between Alicia Fox and Nia Jax, which I'm okay with. I just have one concern. Is Nia Jax going to steamroll over Alicia Fox like she has every other woman? Or will we actually see a legit match between these two? Since Alicia Fox is technically an established WWE diva or woman wrestler. I'll just say diva. I'm sorry. I have to say diva. It just makes it easier for me. I'm too used to the word. Sometimes when you're too used to saying a word, it's hard to get rid of it. But anyway, I'm just going to say diva. Alicia Fox is a legit star on the roster. She's not a jobber and should not be treated as such. Now, I'm not saying that Alicia Fox should be the one to beat Nia Jax. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is if Nia Jax does win, this needs to be a full-blown match. This is not a squash match. This has to be a real long match. Not like extremely long, but like the standard, 6-7 minutes. Give us at least a 7-minute match. Give us enough time to see these two really destroy each other and let Alicia Fox get a couple near falls. Let it look like she's got a real shot at beating Nia Jax, and then Nia Jax wins. So Nia Jax wins, but she has to work for it. Kind of like how Anne, in a way, made Nia work for it a little bit, but have Alicia Fox make her work for it just a little bit more. That way, we see a real fight between these women. We see a real match. We can see something legit happen here. Because if you just let Nia Jax squash Alicia Fox, it pretty much makes her irrelevant. I mean, she's already irrelevant without Total Divas, but you need to show people that she's more than just the Total Diva. She's more than just someone on Total Divas. She's got to show that she can hang with the best of them. And she's got to be able to prove that. Otherwise, she's just taking up space. And on that note, we're about to move on to the next match here. We got Braun Strowman, only this time, instead of him taking on a jobber, he's going one-on-one with Sin Cara, which is interesting. Braun Strowman, after weeks taking on jobbers, is actually taking on a legit superstar in the ring. But the question is, why is Sin Cara in this match? Well, Tom Phillips talked to Sin Cara backstage before the match, and here's why he asked for this match with Braun Strowman.
Sin Cara, why did you request this match against Braun Strowman?
Last week when Braun ripped out my Lucha Underground mask off, I knew then that I had to fight for my heritage. I'm not going to let anybody, especially him, disrespect the Lucha culture.
So that's the reason Sin Cara finds himself in action here tonight. Bold move by Sin Cara.
Yes, very bold move, and I like that. I like the fact they actually gave us a good reason, you know. Last week when he fought Americo, he ripped off his mask in the middle of the ring, and Sin Cara saw that as disrespect because that is one of the most disrespectful things you could do to a luchador is remove their mask. The mask is sacred. That's why, you know, in Nacho Libre, when at the end of the movie, when Ramses took off Ignacio's mask, when he took off his mask, that was a sign of disrespect. When Rey Mysterio put his mask on the line in WCW, when it was Scott Hall and Kevin Nash against Rey Mysterio and Conan, and they lost the match and Rey had to take the mask off, it was a emotional moment for Rey Mysterio because losing that mask is sacred. That's why unmasking a luchador is such a big deal. And that's why they take it so seriously that every time they went out in public, they wore that mask. They made sure that only the people really, really close to them could see them without that mask. And that's why when Rey Mysterio lost the mask, his whole gimmick changed. Which is why, in a way, it was great to see him come back with the mask when he came back to WWE. And the fact that he's keeping the mask while in Lucha Underground, which is taking place tomorrow. Tomorrow, Season 3, Lucha Underground. It's going to be amazing. And on that note, we'll move on to the match itself, Braun Strowman and Sin Cara. And this match was This was very good. I will say. Sin Cara actually got a chance to step up to Braun Strowman. You know, hit a couple drop kicks, some head scissors. Basically, Sin Cara hitting all of his high flying moves and hit a jawbreaker, and he actually brought the fight to Braun Strowman like no one has done since he came back or since he went solo after being drafted away from the Wyatt family. This was an amazing thing, an amazing sight to see. And I, for one, enjoyed it immensely. It was a great, great match. And then, of course, in the end, eventually, Braun Strowman pulls him out after Sin Cara hits a nasty-looking drop kick on the floor, but Strowman doesn't go down. Strowman then pulls him out of the ring before he can get in, and then gets it and wins by countout. Kind of basically beats up Sin Cara outside the ring, and Braun Strowman ends up winning via countout, which is actually good. Braun Strowman still got the win, but by winning by countout, it doesn't hurt Sin Cara too much. Now, of course, after the match, he clotheslines him in the back of the head, screams at him to stay out of his ring, and poses for the crowd, and then walks away, which was a great, again, another great segment, another great moment to ending of the match. It made Sin Cara look strong because he hit a lot of great high-flying moves with Braun Strowman. Braun still got the victory, so it hasn't killed his streak at all. He's had to resort to a smart tactic to beat Sin Cara, which I thought was great. Because even though Braun Strowman does have a size advantage over Sin Cara should not be buried like this. Sin Cara is not a jobber. He's a real star and should be allowed to have that legit way of looking good. So it was a great match. And the match did what needed to be done. And that's what I liked about it. They did exactly what needed to be done. And it was entertaining all the way through. And on that note, we will move on to the next official match of the evening, I believe. No, actually, no. Next, we're going to cut to Sasha Banks, the boss. Sasha Banks had to deliver some bad news to WWE Universe. As we all know, Sasha Banks injured her lower back and ended up having to drop the women's title to Charlotte at SummerSlam. She's currently been recovering from the injury, trying to find out if she'll need surgery, trying to find out what her future is. And apparently she wanted to deliver some news to WWE Universe and said that she had bad news to give the WWE Universe. So Sasha gets in the ring, grabs the microphone, and here's the sad, distressing, bad news she had to give to WWE Universe.
There's a saying that every journey has an end. And every story has a final chapter. For years and years, the WWE Universe was searching for a revolution. Before there was a Facebook and a Twitter, before there was a thing for a chick to post on Instagram to try to get attention that has no talent, there was a revolution. There was women like Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah, like Alundra Blaze and Luna Vachon, women like Trish and Lita who broke the mold and laid the foundation. These women wrote the first pages of a revolution of change. A change that became reality. July 13th, 2015, when Stephanie McMahon introduced the next generation of women in the WWE. No more bra and panties matches. No more stupid butterfly title. We did it. We did it. We finally became what we deserved all along. To be called superstars. But this revolution is more than the WWE. This revolution is every mother, every sister, every daughter. This revolution is all of us. And my revolution is every time I step in this ring. Every time I step in this ring, I do it for every little girl. Every little girl who has a dream of being something bigger. I do it for every single person who dreams of being more. They had nothing and was told they couldn't be anything that was great in life. I used to wake up at 6 a.m. with my mom and collect soda cans to try to save up money just to try to buy a ticket to come to a WWE show. That's why I fight so hard. Because every time I'm in this ring, it means everything to me. At SummerSlam, I was pushed to my limit. No, scratch that. I was pushed beyond my limit. Charlotte tried to break my back, but I'm not out here to make any excuses. Charlotte beat me, straight up. But I'm out here because earlier today, I met with the doctor, and I have an update on my condition. And I have some bad news.
It's completely uncalled for, whatever this is about.
Whoa. The only champion the WWE Universe deserves is Charlotte. And I made a promise to her that I'm going to keep. So I have some bad news for you, Sasha. I'm going to use you and your broken body to step my game up and finish what Charlotte started at SummerSlam. So you and your little journey, yeah, it's going to end on my terms. Right here and right now.
Oh my God, we're going to take advantage of her. Wait a minute, Sasha! It's Sasha to the bank statement! The bank statement of Dana Brooklyn, confident.
Actually, Miss Piggy, the bad news wasn't for Bill. It was for Charlotte. Let her know at Clash of Champions, that title is coming back to me.
A major statement to the boss. Look out, Charlotte. Sasha's back. That is bad news for Charlotte.
That right there was probably the best promo Sasha Banks has ever cut. Right there. Why? Because she took us on an emotional roller coaster where she had everyone thinking that she was going to announce her retirement. Because think about it. We saw a lot of that. Daniel Bryan with his multiple concussions, having to leave the ring with the emotional speech. People getting hurt and having to leave the business. So many plethora of injuries. Plus Sasha, who was very injury prone, which is one of the main reasons Vince is not comfortable pushing Sasha Banks. So to see her make that return, let us know that no, she's coming to Clash of the Champions to face Charlotte. If Sasha Banks is medically cleared, if Sasha Banks is going to wrestle, then I believe wholeheartedly Sasha Banks is walking out of Clash of the Champions the women's champion. And she needs to. She does. She has to do this. Sasha Banks, Charlotte, it cannot be allowed to remain the WWE Women's Champion. We cannot let this happen anymore. There is nothing positive to be had by that. Nothing good would come from having him on the show, from having Charlotte continue to be the women's champion. She's not entertaining as champion. She's not helping the roster at all. In fact, I would go as far as to say, even if you got to do something where Dana Brooke turns on Charlotte and helps Sasha win the championship, and then have Charlotte go into a feud with Dana Brooke, and then have Sasha Banks move somewhere else. Or Dana tries to help, and then Bayley comes out and makes the save and helps Sasha win. Then for a while, we see the ladies kind of team up for a bit. Because I know there's a rumor going down the road that at some point at WrestleMania, I think at WrestleMania 33, Sasha Banks and Bayley are supposed to fight for the women's championship. Sasha's supposed to have a long reign as champion, get all the way to WrestleMania, and then have Bayley take the title. And that's what I want to see happen. Sasha Banks needs a solid reign at the top. And she needs fresh opponents to get in the ring with. Once Charlotte loses the belt, she needs to stay out of the women's title picture for a while because she was champion for way too long. Even her being champion right now, like I get why they did it because Sasha was injured, but still, it's doing nothing as champion. Charlotte is stale and boring and isn't helping anyone. She needs to fizzle down for a while and start bringing other people up. We have other women on the roster. You can't just put the focus on these specific women because you devalue the other women on your roster. And the purpose of the draft should be to give everyone opportunity. Unless SmackDown Live is the only one that provides opportunity and Raw is supposed to be still stuck in the past. And if that's the case, Raw's not going to do very well going forward with that mentality. So Sasha Banks definitely has to win. And hell, we could probably see Sasha and Dana fight for the women's title at some point. They might give the women's title shot to her. Or because Sasha's taking the belt back, we might see Sasha Charlotte 3. They could carry that to the October pay-per-view. Have Sasha win there. Then make everything interesting, like at Survivor Series. Have Sasha and Dana. Or, and then maybe at TLC, you make another match. Sasha and Bayley against Charlotte and Dana again. have that next match go down, you know, and have that keep going. Then get us to and then do whatever we got to do to get to WrestleMania, where we see Charlotte, where we can see Sasha Banks one-on-one against Bayley. And that's the way it should go down. No triple threat, no fatal four-way, none of that shit. Just Sasha and Bayley. And then at WrestleMania, you put that WWE Women's Championship on Bayley. It will get the loudest pop in Orlando. No doubt about it. If Bayley can walk out of WrestleMania 33, the WWE Women's Champion. It will blow the roof off the place if the roof ain't already there. It's going to be insane. I think that's the right way to go with this. And on that note, we move on to the main event of the evening. I ain't going to waste too much time on this. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Boring. Boring. Pretty much. The only issue that happened in this match was at one point on the outside, Owens whipped Sami Zayn to the barricade, but Zayn jumps to the top of it and connected with a moonsault. I would say that was probably the only part of the match I personally found interesting. Why? Because everything else I'd seen in this match, I'd already seen. And like I said before, I had no interest in watching Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens fight again. So I'm going to be honest. From a wrestling standpoint, they put on a good match. No shit, these two always do. But I'm sorry, seen it, been there, done that, smoked it, humped it, called it an Uber. You're not showing me anything I haven't already seen, and surprise, surprise, Kevin Owens wins the goddamn match. Pretty much makes everything Sami Zayn did at Battleground look like a fucking joke. The whole thing is worthless, and it was just a stupid main event match. Monday Night Raw was awesome last week. This week, it ended in disappointment. Now, of course, after the match, Roman Reigns' music hits. He comes out. The crowd is mercilessly booing him. He stands in the ring. Owens stands in the ring holding the Universal Championship and doesn't back down as Reigns gets on the apron. And the crowd is loudly booing Reigns. Owens and Roman continue to stare each other down. Chris Jericho comes down in the ring, gets on the apron. So now it's like Owens on one side, Jericho on the other. Roman Reigns kind of looking at both of them. Because obviously, as I said before, Roman Reigns is just as pissed off. Because he got screwed over by Triple H too. He got screwed over by Triple H as well. So neither one of these men are happy. And Roman has just as much to complain about as everybody else. Pretty much the only two people in this match from the Fatal 4-Way that have no reason to complain are Kevin Owens and Big Cass. Big Cass was the first one eliminated and got eliminated legitimately. And Kevin Owens because, well, he's the Universal Champion as a result of it. So as Roman Reigns is staring at both these men, all of a sudden, Mick Foley comes out to the ring. And here's what the GM has to say about this potential brawl.
This is what we're going to do. Roman, I can tell you want a piece of Kevin Owens and that WWE Universal Championship. So next week on Monday Night Raw, I'm going to put you and Kevin one-on-one. And if you can defeat Kevin Owens next week on Raw, we're going to make that match at Clash of the Champions a triple threat match. Have a nice day. So next week in Baltimore, Roman Reigns gets a huge opportunity. Beat Kevin Owens, triple threat.
Well, there we have it. A great main event set up for next week on Raw. We see Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. If Roman Reigns wins, then we get a triple threat match at Clash of the Champions. So, of course, Kevin Owens he's pissed off about it, but he ends up leaving the ring. Jericho gets in the ring, tries to blindside Roman Reigns, but Roman dodges it, spears him down. The crowd loudly boos that as Reigns smiles at Owens. And they play his music as Owens angrily walks off to end the show. Now, obviously with Tom, who called in earlier, we had a little chat about this. Basically, like I said before, I don't see Roman Reigns. Personally, I did not see him being involved in the Universal Championship match. Personally, what I want to see is Roman Reigns go for the United States title. I want Rusev to come. Here's what I want to see next week. I want Roman and Kevin. They're going to go one-on-one. I want Rusev to come back and interfere in this match. Not Chris Jericho, Rusev. Here's the thing. I want Jericho to interfere. I want maybe Seth Rollins to take him out. Something happens to Jericho where he can't help. Rusev interferes. He takes down Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens beats him, and it becomes Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins for the Universal title. Well, Rollins is obviously not going to get involved because he don't want a triple threat match either. But something happens to prevent Jericho from interfering. Something happens. Or maybe Seth has an attitude where I don't care. I've beaten Roman before. I don't need this. I don't need to worry about this. But Rusev interferes. Roman Reigns gets a match with Rusev at Clash of the Champions for the United States title. Roman then beats Rusev and becomes the United States champion like he should have at SummerSlam. Because that match ended in a no contest. We can't not have them fight again. You can't just sweep that out. And Roman definitely should not be the Universal Champion, at least not right now, because A, the crowd still hates his rotten guts, and B, because he still had that 30-day suspension thing. So it needs to be a while before Roman can get another title shot. Now, eventually, we'll be able to forgive and forget, and Roman will be able to become Universal Champion, no problem. But now is not the time. So I don't want to see a triple threat match. I'm not that heavy into triple threat matches, personally. But I do think that there is a possibility of, that happening, but I don't want to see it happen. I'd rather see Kevin and Seth go one-on-one. I'd rather have Roman face Rusev. And then maybe at some point put Roman and Seth together as a team, especially if Triple H comes back and starts helping out Kevin. There's a lot that can happen between now and then. But either way, Roman does not need to be in this match. I don't believe. And I think Rusev should interfere instead of Jericho to make that happen. That way we set up their next match for the U.S. title, and Roman can become United States champion at Clash of the Champions and bring some prestige to that United States title that clearly Rusev isn't bringing because he's just not that good, no matter how much people try to delude themselves into thinking he is. And that just benefits everyone in the long run. So either way, we'll see what happens next week on Raw to potentially send everything into the next story. And they've got 3 weeks to make it happen. So they can easily bring Rusev back from his damn honeymoon and make this happen. All right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will wrap up this episode of the Boochcast for today. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in live. I want to thank everybody listening to the archives. I want to thank Tom for calling in. That was a great conversation. Look forward to the next time he decides to chat with us. And I'll be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. West Coast time. Another fun-filled, action-packed episode of the Boochcast. I'll be doing a recap of TNA. I'll be also recapping SmackDown Live. And hopefully, if there's time, I'll do a recap of Season 3 of the Magic School Bus. So we got all that coming up tomorrow here on the Boochcast. Until next time, this is Vinny Bucci, a.k.a. The Booch, saying keep on living life and take care. This has been the Boochcast. I'll chat with you guys tomorrow right here on Blog Talk Radio and YouTube.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.